Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are, family, and welcome to episode 2 of the Law by Night live stream of Vampire the Masquerade Shadows of New York City. Oh, and I'm so excited to sink my abyssal fangs into this again, and once more we are joined by my cute, adorable doggos, Emma and Holly, who are both going to be noisy and snory, I have no doubt. So before we start, I'm just going to sit back a little bit and wait for members of the family to arrive. Oh, I should turn myself off. I can't do this properly. I think we'll get out the main menu. Just hop into the game. Hello, Helton. Thanks for joining. It's good to see you, mate. I'm a little Australian there. St. Patrick's Cathedral. Just wait a couple minutes to see if anybody else arrives. Oh, boy, I'm so excited to get back into this. It's only been a day, but it seems far too long. 2 days, actually, as a matter of fact. Oh. I just love this artwork. And this gorgeous pink circle sex energy going on. Wow. Hello, Maureen. Most of the community is still asleep, I think. I would not be surprised. But we had a small portion arriving last time. Yes. We'll give it some time. We'll give it some time. I'm so curious as to what's going to happen this time. No idea where it's going to go. What the actual plot is so far, really. There isn't really much of a plot at the moment. It's just establishing the scenes and the characters. And Julia is Keeper of Elysium, which is an honorific title because they want to keep her on a leash because she's of Clan La Sombra, and La Sombra are new to this whole Camarilla shindig, as it were. I just finished some calculus homework, so this is perfect timing. Indeed it is. Grim Reaper 456. Hi there. Well, rather you than me with a calculus. I'm not very good with maths. If anybody asks me to do any sort of equations, like, shit, where's my phone? Because it's got a calculator on it. I'm so curious to see where this is going. How to do some cooking while doing this stream. Oh well, that's absolutely fine. The good thing with this, though, you can just listen to it. Like, there's not exactly much action going on. So, that's a good thing. It's one of the joys of visual novels and visual novel let's plays in inverted commas. I think we'll give it one more minute and see if anybody else appears, and then we shall carry on with the episode. Hope everyone's doing okay today. And who's going to be playing Vampire the Masquerade today? That is the important question. Or who has done on the weekend, actually. Friday, Saturday, or today. Okay. I think we'll just start and just see if anybody will join us. Yes, I do hope Julia ends up diabolizing somebody. Is this being simulcast on Twitch? No. I'm doing a very simple potato setup with my PS4, and it can only do one thing at a time. So, alas, it is just YouTube, I'm afraid. And besides Twitch and I and transferring videos across from one platform to another, we don't get on. Alright, let's begin. When I reach St. Patrick's Cathedral, I'm greeted by a voice that grates on me like teeth on tin foil. Benoit! Ah, my favourite toreador from Coteries of New York. Child of Sophie, who had that wonderful true faith experience with us, who tried to get us killed, I seem to remember. It's interesting that he's still alive. St. Patrick's Cathedral is beautiful. I bet it is, and I bet the real thing's far more stunning. Well, well, well. The prodigal daughter returns. Oh, so these two have met before. Oh my god, no. Yes, it's a very interesting shirt. This is the one thing I didn't want to happen. Wasn't Benoit a Sabat member? Not that I'm aware of. He didn't exactly get on with his sire, Sophie. I don't recall Benoit being Sabat. I mean, if he exists in the grander canon, maybe? But I'm not entirely sure. Julia, please, thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. Oh, okay, he's really embracing this whole religious thing now, whereas before he was just toying with the idea. But now he's going balls deep into the Catholicism, as it were. Uh-huh. Where's Father Leonard? His clergy duties kept him from getting here on time. He sent me to apologise in his name and keep you company for a few minutes. Okay. That's the second thing he ought to apologise for. He just wants his flock to live in unity. I am more than willing to oblige him. Why won't you? For the last time, I am not part of his flock. We have a purely professional arrangement. Yes, very fitting indeed, but Julia doesn't seem to be having any of it. What was I going to say? Benoit is of Clan Toreador, Sophie's child, who was our foster sire in Coteries of New York. I know you see it that way. The Knight clan's tendency to stick close to the Catholic Church is their greatest virtue, but they still consider this relationship purely instrumental. This is why we need kindred like you to bring the spiritual change to your clan, to make them understand God's precious gifts. The closer they'd get to the light, the greater their shadows would become. Again with his insufferable sermonizing. Benoit Segel here is a local nutjob and ex-artiste, a degenerate who had some sort of complete mental breakdown in the 90s. To recover, he took religion for solace and guidance. And what does he has as a dictionary? Oh right, degenerate, as in the nickname for Clan Toreador. Alright, we all know about the Toreador, don't really need to read over that. Excuse me. At first he proclaimed his readiness to devote the rest of his own life to studying Gnosticism. After a few years, though, he changed his mind and joined the Catholic Church instead. Yes, there were hints of that. Well, I say hints. There was a lot of evidence in Coteries of New York for our discussions with him when we were Caesar of Clan Toreador. He taught us a bit about the origin stories of vampires, that we are descended from Cain, the first murderer who travelled to the land of Nod, hence Nodism. I'd expect the La Sombra embrace the church, not Toreadors. Oh well. Well, remember that the whole Toreador vice is that they are attracted to something that they deem beautiful. And I suppose, well, it said a moment ago that he was a failed artiste, so he's obviously found his own obsession. But then that's the glorious thing with this game, that the moment you break out the stereotypes, they become far more interesting. In my opinion, at least, anyway. As luck would have it, his Nephritite zeal found a major target in me. When I first met him, I was stupid enough to tell him I was raised Catholic and still identified as such. Somewhat. That would explain the cross that she wears on the ark that we've seen. He immediately pictured me as some sort of force of change within the Camarilla, and set up to put me back on the righteous path. Sorry, I stopped mid-sentence there. Neighbour's dog's barking, I just had to lunge and cuddle one of my dogs who was about to go nuclear. Anyway, now he won't stop preaching to me, apparently, until I become a nun. Remember, the darkest place is directly beneath the candle. You turncoats have this unfortunate predisposition to find salvation right within your grasp, and then lose your way in the shadows. Christ, once he starts, he just won't stop. Yeah, he's really going for it now. Whereas before, as I said, Coteries, he was just, you know, hinting at it, like trying to find his way. Now, a year on from when Coteries happened, he's in there. I guess it's time to bring out the big guns. By the way, I was meaning to ask, got any news about Sophie Langley? A painful grimace crosses his face, but doesn't linger. Kind of rude to change the subject, you know. Rude? I'm just looking for a topic both sides of this conversation would care about. You know, like any guy on etiquette says you should. Oh, what happened there? If I hit the wrong button by mistake. I think you hit a wrong button by mistake. Yes, I did. I skipped Benoit. Great apologies. Benoit said, "Salvation is a topic close to anyone's heart, whether they admit it or not, and it's pretty bold of you to assume I still care about Langley." "I do not assume," Julia says. "I'm certain you do. The second she retires from the public eye, you stop acting like Yzera Kane and start acting like Jesus' keen era Kane. Kanye, sorry. Jesus Eric Kanye and start acting like Jesus' keen era Kanye. Coincidence? I never heard a Jesus era. Do people really call it that? Here's how it's going to work. Tell me what you know and I'll tell you what they say. And keep in mind, I don't know she was your sire until a few nights ago. Hell, I haven't even met her. Oh, this is interesting how this is going to play out, because as I said, well, in the previous episode, and spoilers if you haven't played Coteries of New York, she dies, or rather she's murdered. What's that? And then there are links to humanity. What more human religion with all this its mortals and yes, it's an interesting that vampires can be drawn to religion. I mean, remember that people embrace people, so there's some tendencies for some to join religious ideas and beliefs. But the fact that Catholicism scorns the ideas of vampires in that they are all demons, hellspawn, it's an interesting fight. He winces a bit at me saying hell, but lets it go. Sure, I figure you would have prodded that wood long there. Sure, I figure you would have prodded that wound long ago, if you knew. But what do you care anyway? Better to let your drone there. Better to let you drone about your tormented past than let you carry with your god missionary shtick. Professional curiosity. Once a journalist, always a journalist. He scratches his head and exhales in a sad mockery of a chuckle. Fine then, I'll do my best to make it short, just like you said. Sophie Langley, every New York's kindred beloved socialite, was my sire. We first met sometime after World War II. I left France right before the Nazis went round something line. I'm not going to bother pronouncing that. I struggled to keep my siblings alive with my art, watched my brother die during the flu epidemic at 43. I was close to losing my mind. Did I miss some dialogue then again? I do apologise, but these buttons are playing up. Or I'm just playing up. No, I did not. I'm just seeing things. That's when she showed up. She said the sheer torment in my work caught her eye. She became my patron, allowed my talents to flourish and supported me financially. Eventually, she embraced me. As a well-off kindred, my artistic interests started to naturally deviate from what they used to be back when I was a poor mortal upstart. I began to see the world the way of her social circle does. And then she couldn't forgive. Instead of being a fun novelty, I became just another part of the malaise surrounding her. She grew distant and then stopped seeing me altogether. Yeah, that's quite a very common Toreador thing to do. You do have a tendency to miss dialogue. I do indeed. I ain't perfect. Yes, it's a very interesting Toreador thing. Like, they'll embrace somebody, think that they're the bee's knees, and then they'll just go bored of them because they're not fashionable anymore. I've had my share of meltdowns because of this. I won't deny that. I locked myself out of many career opportunities, but it was an important lesson. Don't trust your elders. Vampirism affects them psychologically as well. If they take interest in you, they won't stop until they suck your soul dry and then discard you like a broken toy. For the first time since I've known him, Cigar registers to me as something other than a Bible-thumping nuisance. Is it compassion I feel? Do I find him relatable? How dreadful. It's possible he's strategically trying to elicit sympathy. Maybe he heard about my dramatic exit from Lodestar. Or maybe he's just alluding to my to the way my sire left me, here to fend for myself. Hello, Milkless. Hello, hello, hello. It is only God who will never lead you astray. This is why I find your act so frustrating. Julia, you're so close to getting it, but you choose sin instead. So my phone was buzzing at me. Right. There's the Benoit cigar I know. Almost had me fooled. Let's get back on track. What about Langley's disappearance from the city? Her path was a road of perdition. Whether she ended up, I doubt she's ever happy about it. I doubt she's too happy about it. She had plans for the future of this city, wanted to make it her ultimate artwork. She was always the vain one. And, of course, you are completely sure you have nothing to do with her disappearance. Please don't tell me you're getting at what I think you're getting at. Everybody says you've been acting like you're trying to repent for something ever since her vanishing act, and you've got a motive. Of course I'm getting at what you think I'm getting at. Benoit shakes his head. You really have the devil in your heart, Julia. Always testing me. Just asking what everyone's thinking. Are they now? Listen, I'm familiar with a lot of the insults attached to my name in this city. Those aren't exactly compatible with the image of a ruthless killer. Killer, huh? Now that's interesting. I haven't said anything about killing. He scrubs his hand over his forehead and collects himself before responding. Stop picking apart every word I say in this completely unpleasant way. Here's a statement if you really want one, Miss Hercule Poirot? Poirot? I don't know, I ain't French. She cuts right to the core, my god, yes. Julia's a blunt one and I love it. I do believe Sophie, the way I knew her, has met her end. Even if she's still walking this earth, she wouldn't come back here as the same prideful aristocrat. She'd have to undergo a spiritual rebirth. Someone has reminded her of her place. Her former friends talk of her in hushed voices. Even the servant play toy of her went missing. The play toy, of course, being... well, in our case, it was Caesar of Clan Toreador, the cat that we were playing as in Coteries of New York. I'm just cleaning my glasses at the moment, so I can't see shit. Okay, I'm back. No more Camarilla parties. She's done for. Whatever happened to her, I don't know. I swear on Jesus and his sandals, I had nothing to do with it. I prefer this to Coteries. Being in Julia's head is great. I do admit there is a lot more focus in the narrative, but then again, the two different games here. This one is set out with a character and their story in mind, whereas Coteries of New York wants you to feel like you're going on this journey with them. You're learning about the ways of vampire and, of course, V5. So yeah, I prefer the focus here for sure. But yes, I'm still here and she's not. And it's not a reason to gloat, but to be more humble. I received a sign from God telling me to re-examine all the unfortunate ways I still resemble Sophie Langley. And I listened. I rejected the pride I shared with her. I renounced my vows to God, recommitted to preaching his greatness. I mean, this is why we're having this conversation in the first place. Right now, when I think of Langley's influence on my life, I am grateful, because he was a sign that got me here, and, if God wills it, maybe one day you'll look at her the same way, Julia. Mental note, whenever he circles back to his preachy tone, it's time to intervene. Alright. If it makes you feel any better, I think that the only way a wimp like you could have hurt her was by boring her to death with Bible quotes. Oh, I love Julia. Oh, I love her so much. Now then, quid pro quo, tit for tat. You were saying people still talk about me. I was curious if... Oh, look who's finally here. The last person to biblically receive a sign from God was told to kill his son, to which an angel then came down and told him that he was off his rocker for even thinking to do that. Julia, you lovely savage. That is the episode title. I'm just going to take a picture of that because I'm going to forget that in a couple of hours' time. Oh, that's a selfie. Don't want that. Ugh, kill it before it lays eggs. Mr. Grim Reaper, you are a saint. It's blurry, but it'll do. Okay. Image processing. Fuck off. Back onto the YouTube. Okay. Stalling for time worked. Father Leonard rushes in our direction, carrying a folder of documents under his arm. I assume it's the one I came here for. Oh, thank you. I'm here for all the funny, witty titles, hence the suggestive first episode title, Step on Me. Father Leonard. Ooh, that beard though, and those wavy locks. Christ be praised, Julia. Yesterday I was told this is how priests greet their parishioners in Eastern Europe. Forever and ever, Amen. Actually, I think we said each other's lines. Never mind. Another long night. Isn't it taking a toll on you? Interesting transition of artwork then when she said that the line, she was holding her cross in her hand. I think she's got closer ties to her Catholicism than she lets on. Anyway. No need to worry these days. I sleep a few hours a day, short naps take care of the rest, and there's always work to be done. I apologise for being late. At least I managed to get here before you and Benoit went to each other's throats. Good. I was getting worried. Oh, who do you take me for, Father? He takes you for a total bozo who's about as effective as converting people as a documentary about paedophilia in the Catholic Church. Oh! She tried to deny the ties to Catholicism. Oh, the brutality of that line from Julia. Oh, he's just too kind to say it aloud. Oh, that's fucking brutal. Ouch. Hear what I have to deal with, Father. But don't worry, we'll make a saint of her yet. Forget saint. For now, I'd settle for an adult in the room. Did I miss dialogue then? Because that kind of stuttered. No. Okay, so just like last time, the chat are going to choose what happens, whether we die or we carry on to the very end. Choose what we want to pick, and I will choose the first option that I see. So 1, 2 or 3. 2. Okay, that's what you are. Isn't that what you are for? I've been patient with that role, but by now you kids should be moving out, not leaving crayon marks on the walls and throwing food around any time Daddy's not looking. So let's just focus on our grown-up duties, shall we? Julia? Here. He gives me a folder he was carrying with him, and I pass him the reports I wrote earlier tonight. Among Kindred, it is common knowledge that the Catholic Church is one of the Le Sombre's greatest assets. Hell, it might even be one of the main reasons the Camarilla is slowly warming up to the clan. That makes a lot of sense. It's interesting that it's only taken them now to try and invest in the Church, as it were. We are technology impaired and as such woefully unprepared to face the challenges of communicating in the 21st century. Of course, that's referring to two things there. The fact that in V5 law the Camarilla are retreating further back from technology because the Second Inquisition and hackers and whatnot can hack into things and find out what's going on. And also the La Sombra Bane, where in addition to not having a reflection, they also appear funny on cameras and such, and they can't deal with technology very well. Hard to handle advanced encryption when you can't even unlock a smartphone. Yeah, just as I said. Especially that the church is dying slow death in these modern nights. In some places, yes. This is where the Vatican connections enters the picture. A web of priests scattered all around the world exchange our dispatches between each other, making sure they all reach their destinations in total secrecy. I was told not everyone in the Holy See is friendly to our kind, but the most shrewd and talented usually are. You could say they're like a mortal Camarilla, better than any intelligence agency. Remember what happened to John Paul I when he attempted to uncover the workings of the Institute for the Works of Religion? Death after 33 days of papacy, rumours of CIA and Masonic involvement. Not that Father Leonard has anything to do with any of this. For a Catholic priest, he's all right. He'd probably have made me stay a believer a few years longer than I did, had I known him as a teenager. Leonard is intelligent, kind, helpful toward his parishioners, treats his superiors with a healthy dose of scepticism, and is not involved in any sort of political church games. Well, At least not beyond helping me contact my bosses in Chicago every other night or so. He knows about the Kindred and he knows about the Second Inquisition. He opted to avoid the latter in order to keep the former from oppression because, according to him, it's the right thing to do. I know there's got to be something wrong with him, some selfish motivation maybe, and I haven't nailed it down yet, but it doesn't feel like he's making an effort to hide it, so I'm giving him a pass. Interesting. By the way, I hope you don't mind. I finally took the liberty of asking how your parents are doing. Thank you, Father, but you shouldn't have. Not a problem. A priest at St. Stanislaus Kostka is a good friend. He says your parents started showing up every Sunday again. Front rows. Your father is looking better and better. The N-word pass? I don't get that reference. Anyway, it makes me feel nothing, but I still give him a token, a nod, and a grateful smile. No, her parents are stuck in Idaho. Okay, I'm even more confused now. Thank you, Father Leonard. Now, if you excuse me, the sunrise is almost here. Yes, be careful and God bless you. Amen. Goodbye, Julia. I'll let you off the hook this time, but next time you won't be so lucky, alright? Sure, just one more thing on my never-ending list of events I'm not looking forward to. Guess it's time to call it a night. I'm home. Ooh, I like the purple lights. I've got a handful of female friends who have bedrooms very much like this. I love to stay in chat, but you're a total bitch. Oh, finally, you're doing alright. Hello, Dakota. Oh, you look... Oh. I thought you two were just friends. Julia, you scored good points with this one. Anyway, finally. You doing alright? Yeah. Whoa. Fine, I guess. Why aren't you asleep? I figured it's finally time for me to become more of a night owl. We've talked about making our schedule sync better. Oh, okay, so she knows. Oh, and she's also, from that, she's also betrayed us. Well, not betrayed. She's lets a mortal, well, two mortals actually, if you count the priest, that she's a vampire. Or is Julia lying through her teeth and like some night stuff? We'll find out. What's your vitamin D? I'd have to kill. I'd kill to have your skin. Would be a shame to waste it. Shouldn't have smoked so much before you got bitten, sweetheart. Oh, she does know about her being a vampire. Okay, this is going to be an interesting setup, because in the Coteries of New York, Caesar's sister, and of course the other chosen one, doesn't know about them being a vampire. This is interesting. The priest is a clan friend. Interesting. Should have shot up your skincare routine with me back when I was still breathing. I couldn't just... I can't speak today, I'm so sorry. I can't just be going around sharing my one secret weapon. It's top secret stuff. MK Ultra level, Jeffrey Epstein's current whereabouts level. I'd have to kill you if I told you. And my phone stopped doing the thing. Apologies, I'm just going to play catch up with my phone and the chats because it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. Okay, there we go. Dakota knows too much about upholding the Masquerade. This isn't going to end well for her, isn't it? Nope, it will not. There we go. Okay, which weapon? Weapon? Sorry, which option? 1, 2, or 3? With a face like that, surely we can make an exception. I sure as hell hope so. 3. I love you guys. That's the correct option. Okay then, love you too, hun. Come on, what's with the attitude? Nothing, I just thought we would be on hiding secrets from each other. I guess I was wrong. Okay, I get it. I really do. Time out. You're not really mad, are you? Nah, it's just my minute asshole teasing you. Aye, never mind. I feel a little more self-conscious than usual tonight. Don't. You want me to do your makeup before you go to sleep? Aw, that's so sweet. And the music, I think it was something that we were asking about earlier on, like how is it... No, it was something that she mentioned actually, like how she did her makeup each night. Obviously this is going to be tragic romance between Julie and Dakota. I think that's both of them in the artwork and the menu. Yeah, I think so too, actually. But you know, there could be some mysterious ghosty person. Yeah, that ambience though. Oh, makeup thing is super cute. Aw. I know we were saying in the previous episode that we're shipping Julia and Kadir. Nah, fuck that. These two all the way. No need. No need. When are you supposed to be having some sort of big party tomorrow night? Heh. I was involved in the backstage stuff. What makes you think I was invited? Because you're the coolest, cutest and most all-round amazing person I know. They'd been saying not to put you on the short list. Aww. On my heart. I'm not crying. Not yet. Believe it or not, but most vampires are pretty insane. Interdimensional psychic vampire level insane. Because that's how crazy they have to be to ignore you like this. Oh. Yeah, I would say no. Fuck them, then. A big bunch of posh dicks. They hate you because they ain't you. But they'll see. Why are the chat appearing on my phone? I might have to close the thing and open it up again. One moment. So, because I don't sitting on my PC with this, because this is totally straight conversation. Yeah, because I don't have a fancy setup. I'm having to play the game here, and the comments don't always appear on the side, so I'm having to read them off my phone. Yes, apologies for that, but you know the drill. Low quality tech, top-notch banter. Jesus, how do you do it? Do what? You always assault me with such of this weird, stupid positivity that I can't react to it without completely shifting my mental attitude. How do you do it? Oh, the answer is easy. You remember how I told you we have this spiritual connection? I can sense what you feel and want. You can sense what I feel too, if you really focus. Yeah, I think I called it a big load of bullshit. Aww. Said a girl who talks to ghosts. But watch this, Agent Scully. I sensed you feeling down and I realised what you really need to end this night with. She points to one of her drawers. It's the one where she keeps a supply of... ketamine? Come on. What? No, wrong drawer. We're not meeting demons, we're meeting angels. MDMA? Ding, ding, ding. Took it half an hour ago. Perfect timing thanks to our spiritual connection. It's not as romantic now. Ready to fly away? The mood isn't right. I need music. Got a special SoundCloud playlist ready to go. Prepared specifically to uplift one Julia Sawinski. Just give me a sign and I'll press play. Jesus, you're impossible. That's why I love you. That's why you love me. I hope. I give up. Come here. Let me have a taste of you. Maybe this one time the high won't end. Aww. I was getting a little bit emotional with that. Because minus the drugs, I have started seeing somebody, and as much as we compliment and praise each other, my other half does not do compliments very well, and she just sort of breaks inside. So that was hitting a bit close to home there. Oh shit. Anyway, let's race. That was very emotional. It felt natural. Ooh, new scenic backdrop. I leave Dakota's apartment as soon as the sun goes down. Yesterday was fun, but I always feel a little nervous when I spend too much time with her. She never lets me escape from being the centre of attention. It's exhausting. At least, the least time I spend with her, the happier she is to see me again. It's a tricky act to balance, though. I'm grateful for her presence in my life, but never mind. What's on my list of chores tonight? Ah yes, only one thing. Don't show up for the party at the art hole. Well, this is a rare night when I don't have anything to do. Might as well take a trip round the city and see what's up. And maybe fix myself a little drink while I'm at it. Okay, folks, we've got two options to choose from. Let me read them out. I'll walk in the park. In life, I wasn't especially fond of parks. Now, as one of the Kindred, I can finally see the appeal. Past midnight, they've become a surprisingly good hunting ground. Okay, so option one's doing a bit of hunting. Option two, breaking the habit. I need to break out of this mood. Go somewhere never visit. See something tend to avoid. Think, Julia. What is the least you place to go and have and live a little? Alright, thanks for stopping by, Helton. Enjoy the rest of your day. Okay, so which option, folks? The bottom one or the top one? Option 2, it is then. Breaking the habit. What was I thinking? I mean, even the most hopeless introverts yearn for company every now and then, be it the company of someone they know or a total stranger revealing themselves to be the soulmate they've always sought. Even for someone as neurotic as me, there's something as enthralling in the idea of briefly trading your individualism for a place in the crowd. But you can just wander around and stare like a peeping Tom hidden in plain sight. If there's anything missing from the shell of my previous social life, it's that the intangible sensation being a part of a living mass. But really, Coney Island, of all places? What was I thinking? Surely, it's my ID finally revealing that I've been missing all along. All my sick soul really wanted was to nibble on a Williams come-out apple and take an overpriced Wonder Wheel ride. Well, I'm here. Might as well try at least one of those tourist traps. Okay, which ride we're going to go on? Thunderbolt, Spookorama, or Wonder Wheel? Number 1, Thunderbolt. Of all the nearby roller coasters, this one seems to attract the least attention. Perfect. I take a seat in the most weathered cart, buckle up, and prepare to force some enjoyment out of myself. After a few minutes' ride, I realise why everyone gives this place a wide berth. To say it was an underwhelming would be an undeserved compliment. Not that I expected anything else, but still, I'm not sure what I was hoping for. You're breaking the Masquerade. Yeah, probably. Just existing, I guess, is breaking the Masquerade. Not that I had expected anything else, but still, I'm not sure what I was hoping for. Amidst the clouds of cigarette smoke, I notice an old woman perched silently by the wall. She looks like one giant wrinkle, but her gaze is lively and pierces right through me. I pull the crumpled package out of my back pocket, my last smoke. As I raise the lighter, some pompous dick, preoccupied with his visibly bored girlfriend, shoves the cigarette out my hand. Somehow, it is half-assed apology that pisses me off the most. The urge to drink him dry is strong, but I let it pass. I look beneath my feet and I can hear the old crone cackling as my cigarette sinks into the only puddle in the vicinity. Fuck! I turn toward the exit and notice some brawny dude closing in on me. The way he's dressed is the same uncanny aura as Steve Buscemi walking through a high school corridor in a skater outfit. Except that Steve is 1,000 times cooler than this guy. He gets right in my face and hands me a cigarette, pulling up a rather annoying smirk. Having a bad night, sweetheart? Blockhead. The names for the unnamed NPCs are much more amusing this time around. Alright, which option? 1, 2, or 3? I mean, I personally like option 2 the best, but let's see what you... It's not about what I want, it's about what you guys want. Which one do you want to go for? Number 3. Alright. I look the other way and attempt to walk past him. He completely disregards my reluctance and starts waving his hand erratically like a second-hand mime. That's a shame, but hey, you seem like a girl who likes to have fun. I know these things. I have something here just for you. Want to check it out? Throughout this bizarre peacock dance, his colourful wristband pops up from behind his sleeve. Shit, man. How clueless can you be? Is this a hidden camera show? Or maybe you're just some newbie being hazed by the rest of your undercover unit? Cockney accent. I'll pass. Alright. Which one? 1, 2, or 3? And that's Holly snoring. 1, 2, or 3? 1. He really thinks that I'll take the bait. Unbelievable. Okay, smartass. You're on. Well, what'd you say? Keep talking. Why won't you follow me to my stash? I've got dope. Wow. Just wow. Let me stop you right there, Tony Montana. Less than 10 seconds ago and you rushed straight to the finish line. Also dope. You poor soul. You're out of your depth. Who put you up to this? I seem to have struck a nerve and he doesn't know how to handle it. Come on, big guy. Big guy. Just give me a reason. Well, fuck you too, bitch. Now that's just rude and begs for a reaction. Oh, discipline time. Okay. Well, potentially. What do? We walk away, or we use dominate in 2 different ways. We could drop your axe for everyone to see, or scare the haunted house visitors. 1. I am surprised. Okay. He might not be the sharpest tool in the shed, but he's probably not alone. I'm sure I could take him and his pig friends, but I don't feel like getting tased in the face tonight. Would a tase even work on me? This might not be the right time to find out. Right now, it's time to leave this shit show behind. Goodbye, officer. Guess that's enough human interaction from one night. Once more to Big Beat Burger. Into the last food joint I'll ever know. I have the usual. The first time I used this line I wasn't sure it would work, but I gained enough notoriety among the staff that it does. The cashier just smiles, nods and charged me for 1 black coffee. I can imagine them instructing the newbies. She's that emo weirdo. Here's how it works. She always orders 1 single cup of coffee, nothing else, and she doesn't even drink it. Probably wouldn't even take a single sip even if I was still alive. This stuff is just trash. But at least being a buying customer gives me an excuse to sit here for as long as I want to. And I'm talking for drinks. Stay hydrated, K-Knights. Ah. Delish. I wish I could use one of those self-order kiosks to minimise human contact, but touchscreens don't exactly like me. Not too long ago I managed to blue screen 10 of them in a row. Wow, that's impressive. That's a load of botches she got on those rolls. Ah well. The good news is, it doesn't look like I have anything to do tonight. The bad news is, it's because every kindred who matters is having fun at the art hole right now. It's not like I wanted to go. I just wanted them to invite me so that I could tell them to fuck off. Honestly, they probably think she's homeless. We used to have homeless coming all the time when I worked in fast food. Maybe, but she did work here at the beginning as a journalist, so they do know her. It's just her clothes change. As a Nagaraj, I take offence to that. I like human fresh, thank you very much. I scan the entrance to the restaurant through my peripheral vision. I am naively hoping someone will come and save me from misery. Guess I am. Please, please, please let somebody come and get me out of here. A prince, a princess, a knight in shining armour, a fairy godmother, a passing huntsman, a big bad wolf, Mila Jovovich, Vin Diesel, Azealia Banks. Well, hell, I'll take anyone at this point. She's lonely. Visualizing, tapping into the power of my subconsciousness, materializing my dreams. Lily Allen. You know, I like that. Nope. Doesn't work. Looks like you're eternally stuck being a nobody in the corner of a shitty restaurant. Sweet little Julia. Our life's a bitch, then you won't even die. Yeah, it's quite unfortunate scenario, being of Clan La Sombra in the Camarilla, how they just look down upon her, you know, because she was prejudiced. It's a bit shitty, isn't it? I mean, if this was any other clan, she wouldn't have this difficulty. Anyway, I pretend to read a book about psychoanalysis I stole from Dakota for a while. Having found it too mentally taxing, I switched to pretending to read a Stephen King book, which I also stole from Dakota. After the terrifying realization that it was written in the last 15 years and therefore contains no amusing drugged-out rants about troubled childhood in Maine, I switched back to looking at the entrance. That party must be so stuffy and trashy and boring. At this point, I'm no longer looking for salvation. I'm asking for amusement. But it doesn't come. All I get is boring bozos for normcore clothes. I have no idea what normcore means. I presume it's just regular clothes? If somebody knows what that means, could they just give me like a quick crash course in that definition? In the comments, or in the chat or whatever. Anyway, they walk in, take care of their business without doing anything to amuse me, and walk out. A few minutes after I lose all hope, a tall, elegant man marches in with a spring in his step. He looks around, impatient, irritated. Then he notices the person he was looking for and reacts with visible relief. He gallantly approaches my table, looks at me and says, "There you are. It's Daddy Kadir." Now that's curious. He shouldn't be here. Which fantasy response do we give Kadir? I mean, I know which one I want to say. I want to see if you guys come up with the same idea. 1, 2, or 3. Normcore is unisex fashion trend characterized by normal-looking clothing. Normcore in person whose jeans, t-shirts. Oh, right, so it's exactly what I'm wearing right now. 3. My option was 2. The music definition of blank claw is basically what you can... Oh, that was moving too fast. That celebrates the top... This is to be normcore. It's both attractive and comfortable and is viewed as normal by all people. Oh, alright. So basically what I'm wearing at the moment. Anyway, looks like my prayers were answered. Vin goddamn Diesel is here, ready to take me away from this dreadful place in this shining Dodge Charger. Is Michelle Rodriguez in trouble again? Have you made up with The Rock? Will we get justice for Han? Are we going to a race? Will you teach me how to live my life in a quarter mile at a time? My dumb attempt at self-amusement doesn't faze him at all. He doesn't even roll his eyes, he just stares at me blankly. Grab your stuff and get in my car. Now. His tone leaves no room for doubt. Something bad has happened. I wasn't to ask, but whatever he's in his... I want to ask what, but whenever he's in, I will simply ignore all the dumb shit you say mode. I know better than to ask questions. Instead, I silently follow him to the exit. He guides me to his car. I just hope I haven't messed anything up. Again, I don't think I have, but... Have I? Kadir's car, as usual, he Sorry. Kadir's car. As usual, he gave me the back seat. He's always uneasy when the passenger seat is taken. Doesn't want anyone to limit his peripheral vision, he says. Huddy von... I can never do your name. I'm just going to go with Huddy. Hello, thank you for joining. You've entered a wonderful moment. We're in the backseat of Daddy Kadir's car. And I just want to say, the developers have have really done a good job with the animations, because those windscreen wipers are in 60 frames per second. Glorious. Normally, I'd catch him observing me in his rearview mirror, but this time he's watching the streets, more tense than usual. Something must have caught him off guard. Yeah, I've always found it a bit creepy that just the whole time we're looking into his eyes in the rearview mirror. Vadi Kadir. I've got my seatbelt on and my popcorn ready. What's up? The awkward silence feels like it will last forever. Eventually he finds the right words and speaks up. 6 weeks ago the prince told me to parley with the anarchs in the docks. Remember? And for those of you who stumble across this having no idea what the anarchs are, they are a major faction in vampiric society. We are in the Camarilla and our main enemies are the anarchs. Whereas the Camarillas being very formal and regal and snobby, the anarchs are more punk rockery sort of people, like fuck the man, you know, fight against the machine sort of thing. That's a crash course on it. How it felt when our dad drove to school. Yeah, and you made me tag along so I could learn something about politics. As it turned out, politics meant something awfully similar to watching my drunken family shout at each other at a wedding party. I love Julia. There was this man who didn't need to shout to make my blood boil. The meanest one in the room. Their leader. White hair, a monocle, musty clothes. Oh, it's the racist Callahan. With this fucking Polak cunt. Quoting Callahan. Scrooge McDuck. That's funny, because when we played Coteries of New York, we joked about him being the ghost of racist past. So much so that he actually became an episode title. Scrooge McDuck, the CEO of racism. He's an interesting character though, because he's an anarch, and yet he's more uptight and shitty than any Camarilla member is in this game. Yep, it was you, Milkless. The ghost of racist past. Anyway, Scrooge McDuck. Yeah, how could I forget? A lot of panache old-timey bravado with gendered insults flung my way. What was his name? Something British made me think of Hollywood. Callahan? Baron Callahan. Douglas Boss Callahan. And the Baron being a leader of an anarch faction sect within a city. Prince being one for the Camarilla, and Archbishop for the Spot. Right, it's 2020, but the man's opinions and ideas were stuck in 1920, when the anarch's supposed to be the progressive option. I never understood why they put up with him. Oh, this is going to be a very interesting discussion, because, you know, as I've said many times before, Callahan is a very different sort of anarch individual. He has his ways of predicting which way the wind will blow. Any time Camarilla or the SI hits the anarchs, it was the factions opposed to him that were hurt. The luckiest bastard in the world. Speak American. Thought you didn't believe in luck. I don't, but it sure looks like his luck has finally run out tonight. Oh, huh. Wait, don't tell me. Which one? Because any one of those could be true. We're gonna kill him? He's dead. Or the anarchs got rid of him. The first one I see is the one that we're gonna go for. I saw one whilst the freeze appeared, so we're gonna go with one. So what you're saying is we're headed to his office to kill him? What? Just... what? Absolutely not. Looks like I've missed my mark by a mile. Even if, and that's a big if, an idea like that wasn't completely opposed to everything Prince Panhard has been doing over the past few years, his tone sounds as if he was addressing a particularly dumb child. The worst part is, I probably deserve it. There wouldn't be any need for that. The man has ceased to exist. Oh! Shit. Wait, he's dead? Deader than dead? I'm 99% sure the bastard met his final death. Ah. How do you know? We've got trustworthy sources in the Anarch inner circles. Look like all hell is about to break loose. There's an emergency meeting at the art hall. Jesus, and you're bringing me with you? Why? Because you were on the way, because you were on the way. Because I could, because I should. You might not be important to the members of the court, but you're still an asset to the sect. Symbolically, at least. I can justify sneaking you into the party claiming it's for your own protection. Press F to laugh. As always, you put the Fs in the chat. As always, my very own Vin Diesel takes care of his familiar. Wait a minute though. The party is still happening. I called the prince, told her the best course of action is stopping it, and started listing the security protocols I have prepared for these sorts of situations. She interrupted me halfway through and told me we'll discuss the subject face to face. We have an amazing stream dying. Thank you very much, Hadi. Thanks for saying hi. Enjoy the rest of your day. Doesn't sound like she was interested. The party is that important, huh? I must go and walk my doggy. Lol. You go and exercise the doggos, and I'll sit here and look after mine. The party is that important, huh? Politics. Politics is that important. I don't know if he's trying to convince me or himself. And once again, politics sounds an awful lot like a bunch of party-loving assholes shouting at each other. Don't worry, this isn't the kind of, how should I call it, governing issue the likes of you and I tend to deal with. And how would you describe the governing issues we tend to deal with? Shoveling ourselves out of shit. Oh, this is pretty bad because Kadir doesn't really swear all that often. So this must be pretty serious. As usual, he seems a little embarrassed for cussing or being too honest. Either way, it's cute. No argument here. And that's where the conversation ends. We stay silent as the car rides off towards the unknown. I'm not a New York City baron. The Baron of New York City, if you please. Once more, the memory of an old douchebag who thought he could rule the world crosses my mind. Well, it looks like the world has left him behind. Sayonara, arsehole. I know how that's supposed to sound, but I can't form the words with my lips. Too cool for school. And here I am, the only place I didn't expect to visit tonight. The art hall. Guessing by the sounds, the inside seems lively. Even if they know it's an emergency, they simply don't care. What are you standing around for? You still need an invitation? No idea. Do I? I still think the bouncer will let you in. There's a bouncer? Yes, and he's standing right in front of you. Just walking, whelp. And here I am, among partying elites. It's as stuffy and as boring as I expected, but hey, at least it's exclusive. The title Panhard came up with these yearly gathering. It's called Celebrations of Power, an invitation to re-examine the relationship between our undead bodies and the spaces they inhabit. The week-long event is packaged as a sort of performance art piece meant to make the kindred who are involved celebrate their potential instead of despairing at their monstrous nature. I'm finding reading really difficult today. Yep, very pretentious. That's just Camarilla in a nutshell. We need to counter-program the omnipresent images of the tragic vampirism with images that remind us we have inherited the earth and are now free to remake it in our own image, is the way our prince puts it. To this end, she organises a series of exhibits, concerts, fireworks, parties, business meetings, etc., etc. Of course, the parties and business meetings are the most important. My prince. Oh, that is a very interesting outfit Panhard is wearing. Very dated? And it's interesting she's labelled here as Helen Panhard rather than Prince Panhard. I don't forget it's in the canon. The mate. Of course. A saint of angelic wings, a holy patron of New York City. I take a good look there. I take a good look around. Half the figures here are dressed like they are attending a masked ball. The other half are religious figures, either demonic or saintly. I have to admit, I don't fully understand the theme here. I know Panhard based it on psychomagic, a sort of shamanic psychotherapy using the power of art. Simply put, it's a holy mass and unholy mass in equal measures, a set of rituals meant to make the participants wholeheartedly accept they're both the worst and the best this earth has to offer. Is that a Helen of Troy reference? Possibly. It wouldn't surprise me. It could be. Put on this mask, at the very least. You're standing out. Fuck. Wow. Perfect, I should say. Here. I heard the aesthetic basis for these parties in the Black Mass in the film Eyes Wide Shut. Some think this decision means Panhard is tone deaf, but it's quite the contrary. The Cameron aren't known for being religious, they deny Gehenna. Gehenna isn't necessarily the same as Catholicism. Gehenna is the vampiric apocalypse that the antediluvians are going to rise from the dead and eat everybody, that Cain's going to return and have a big old fight with the crone, Lilith's going to show up. You know, Gehenna isn't necessarily the Old Testament religious muck. A satyr mask. She knows the anarchs are constantly looking for ways to undermine her through art and rhetoric that point out glaring contradictions in her theatrically benevolent rule. But instead of denying and supporting aesthetics designed to criticize the elites, she embraces them. Instead of risking a Streisand effect, she effectively defines the opposition. The resistance becomes a part of the system, and both the Camarilla and the anarchs get the same message. Sorry, I've got hiccups, so that might sneak through every so often. And both the Camarilla and the anarchs get the same message. Don't think of it as pathology, think of it as the new normal. I'll collect the key advisors. They've already been told to come here. I don't think there's a need for us to hold the meeting in a particularly scheduled place. We'll just do it over there. Are you certain? Absolutely. Wait, is that Miss Sawinski I see behind you? Which one, folks? 1, 2, or 3? Free. Drink some more water while holding your breath. Sometimes it helps the hiccups. That's exactly what I've just done. I nudged Kadir to take over. I collected her on my way here because of her role as a La Sombra representative. Just say political hostage. You people have made it perfectly clear that's what's going to happen with my parents back in Chicago if I go against you. Gregor, there's only 3 options, so your counting's a bit off. I realised she might have become a target and decided to hide her at the art hole. Putting all my eggs in one basket would make my job easier. I will look for a safe place for her to spend the night. Oh, Thomas Arturo looks different. Let her stay with you for now, Alsamai. Time is of the essence. I did not notice him sneak up on us. Nice get-up. The religion that nods in the Sombra are kind of obsessed with it. True, but Lydia isn't. we were talking more about the outfit that Prince Panhard was wearing and her ideologies. Are you absolutely sure? Of course he went for the Phantom of the Opera mask. Mm-hmm. But of course, everything we say here is going to become an open secret in a matter of minutes. Prince Panhard has already come up with the appropriate messaging. Out of the corner of my eye, I spot an elderly vampire guiding a young, fashionable human girl towards the basement, led like a lamb to the slaughter. Best not to think too deeply about what's going on underneath this place. Before everyone gets here, I'd like to secure the perimeter. Easy now, Al-Samai. All of the appropriate security protocols for you are already active. Me and the Prince have already pulled some strings as well. The situation is mostly under control. Mostly under control. Never let anyone sleep any easier. Al-Samai, I know that as the Prince's sword, you are aching for blood, but you have to accept that, like most weapons known to men, your most effective hidden in the sheath. So I really struggled then. Listen here now. Looks like a fascinating philosophical discussion in the making, but sadly I'm forced to interrupt. Prince Panhard? All of a sudden, Samira appears between the two men, her calm and collected voice completely changing the atmosphere, as expected for a self-professed protector of the peace. Samira, I hope you're enjoying yourself? To be quite honest, I feel quite out of place. She nods and smiles at me, probably to signal she takes solace for not being the only person in the room who feels like a fish out of water. Of course, as a reminder, as we learnt last time, Samira is a Primogen for the Banu Hakim, who recently joined the Camarilla, and she's more pleasant with us because she empathizes with our condition of being new blood within the great yacht club. Especially now, seeing as I heard this meeting is meant for those of greater stature than mine. Nonsense, we have a delicate matter to discuss, one that might require some judgment down the road. I think you understand why I wished a child of Hakim to be involved. Of course. What is with that expression on your face, Kadir? He quickly collects himself. Look who's joining us. The High Regent of the Chantry of the Five Boroughs, Lady Elsie Starbridge, walks up to our group in an outfit I would have never imagined her in, pretending everything is on par for the course. I'm just going to pause for a moment before I hit the X button, because we've only ever seen her in her red coat. That's like a synonymous look. Got that image in your head? Good. Oh. That's interesting. I wasn't expecting that, and I kind of like it. Prince Panhard, the Sheriff, the Harpy, the Banu Primogen. Are we still waiting for someone? He's almost here. Shining even more brightly than usual, Elsing. I adore your outfit, Samira. Wish the Prince allowed the same amount of effort for me. I, for one, am glad she didn't. I particularly love those horns. Oh, Kadir, get you, you sly bastard. Thank you for reminding me. I put them on the Prince's behest, but I believe she's had more than enough fun. Barley aesthetic, I adore it. Yes. No, not yet. Ah, well, this will do for now, but you're not all off the hook yet. I paid a costly price to see you like this. Both Kadir's and the Prince's voices are strained whenever they attempt humour. Their minds are obviously elsewhere, and it's not a happy place. Artura, on the other hand, seems calm. We all celebrate our power in different ways, I suppose. Now, what is this about? Oh, she's took off the horns now. Just a moment. Over here, Addison. The Camarilla's infamous spokesman approaches, pushed towards us in a wheelchair by his servant. Helen, everyone, I certainly hope this is something important. What a commanding tone, seeing as Payne can't communicate normally. His servant relays his words to us instead, and he's posh and snobby enough to make me believe I'm listening to his master's voice. Carter won't be joining us? He gave me fair warning he might not make it tonight. I've messaged him the details. I'll have to find time to meet him later then. Finding time, searching for lost time, I swear it's all I do nowadays. And there's never enough. I guess now you understand why I insisted that this event must... I guess now you understand why I insisted that this event must last all week. So many esteemed guests, many of them from out of town, from each deserving at least a few hours. The figure in the wheelchair waves his hand impatiently. Yes, let's just cut to the chase now, shall we? That might be the wisest course of action. My prince? Arturo? My prince. Everyone, let me begin by stressing these important points. The situation is largely under control. The negotiations are underway, and the situation is more or less than dangerous. We are safe. Let me repeat. We are safe. And with that out of the way, here's the big news. Baron Callahan, de facto of the Anarchs in New York City, met his final death in his office tonight. How did you find out? We have a good friend near his office. The intel is as accurate as it gets. We've also established a negotiation channel with the Anarchs. They gave us all the confirmation we needed. Is that referring to Torque, who is another Baron? I wonder. Was our court involved in his destruction? I look at her in disbelief. She does everyone else. Not that the same thought hasn't passed through my head, but to simply exclaim it like that. Oh, spare me the virtue signaling. I thought we were being transparent here. I don't give a damn if we took care of Callahan or not. I just want to have a clear idea of what I'm dealing with. Yes, a clear answer. I need that too. To my knowledge, none of us present ordered his destruction, nor did we participate in it, unless someone wants to confess. It's now or never. Of course nobody speaks up. Arturo pretends to clear his throat. That's our official position as well. The Camarillas' ruling body had nothing to do with it, and for all intents and purposes, his Anarch contenders and had more interest in removing him than we did. That interest is sure to manifest in one way now. His former enemies will prop him up as a martyr for the cause. Yes, which is why we sadly can't leave the Anarchs to their own devices. As much as we like to avoid recognising their sect in any way, we've offered to assist them in an official investigation. Addison Payne's wrinkled face contorts slightly. Let me just ask you one question. You do realise those curs have no respect for our traditions, yes? The traditions being 6 rules that governs the formulation of vampiric rules in society. We do, Addison, but as a veteran politician, you should be deeply familiar with the words controlled opposition. Yes. For now, it's impossible to fully contain the Anarch threat in New York. For now, our only option is to prop up a candidate who will offer the least resistance to our future plans of the city. This is going to be us, isn't it? We extend our hand to the most promising contender, giving him a way to present himself as a diplomat, a man of reasonable compromise. The rabble falls in line, the purists grow angry and alienated. We've already contacted the best possible person in their sect. Oh, it's in their sect, not us, okay. He will oversee the investigation, and it's in his possible interest to show he's able to resolve the situation calmly. Is that good enough? Addison ponders the question for a while, then waves his hand again. It is. Proceed. I wonder what the connection is with these two, like how these two are able to talk to each other mentally so well. I'm just going to take another drink of water. I'm yawning a lot, I do apologise. So exciting stuff. Callahan is dead. Funny thing, nobody's paying any attention to me right now. Keep in mind, Mr. Payne, our man's people will barely tolerate us, and the situation is volatile. Maybe we'll work with the Anarch. I think that's the way that this is going. Keep in mind, Mr. Payne, our man's people will still barely tolerate us, and the situation is volatile. The other factions within that sorry excuse for a sect might still try to escalate the conflict. I will do my best to solve this situation as fast as possible. Isn't there a discipline that actually allows you to mentally connect? Yes, there is, and it's called telepathy. It's a one-way thing, but I don't know, there might be some weirder stuff going on. But yeah, in all specs, one of the powers is telepathy. How so? Coterie is momentarily taken back by Arturo's question. I am volunteered to coordinate the case of the Anarchs, of course. I refuse. You have more important duties to focus on. Once more, Coterie is stunned. All due respect, Prince, but if you don't consider me capable of tackling this issue and attending to my usual duties at the same time, I think you've gravely underestimated me. Your penchant for working for yourself to the bone is well known and appreciated by everyone in this room, Sheriff, but so is your perfectionism. If we do grant your wish and let you go and investigate while still fulfilling your routine obligations, can you guarantee you're going to give both these tasks your best? I can guarantee something very close to my best. Close to your best doesn't cut it, Al-Samai. Not when the vultures are out in force. Callahan's destruction is sure to cause unrest among the Anarchs, and there's an obvious outlet for their pent-up rage. I want to make this perfectly clear. The celebrations will continue as planned, no matter what. This is why your presence here is absolutely necessary, Sheriff. We rely on your constant protection. Of course, my prince, we must be on a constant vigil for a few days. Our Samai's sword must be constantly pointed at the enemy surrounding us. The timing of the Baron's destruction is impeccable. The Anarch leaders are sure to point at us and claim we're shamelessly celebrating his end. Does anybody believe it's just a coincidence? Murders are messy, almost as messy as politics. It's impossible to reliably predict the outcome of any violent action. I think it'd be wise for us to brace for a lot of unfortunate I'm going to do that again. I think it would be wise for us to brace for a lot of unfortunate coincidence, Elsing. In any case, the rabble can't get the impression that their power struggles are of great concern to us, but they also can't think we're having something to hide. Which brings me to my point. We do need a symbolic gesture, one displaying expertly measured intensity. My best bet is a humble diplomatic envoy, a low-level official acting as an investigator of sorts. I implore you, Prince. Coterie. He bites his tongue and struggles to collect himself. I rarely see him lose his temper, at least where the Camarilla involved. What's going on? I wonder about your suggestion for this role. After all, it's not particularly prestigious, but carries a lot of responsibility. We're still talking about a Camarilla representative. Oh, I think that's a very obvious candidate. Both he and Coterie look at me simultaneously. Everyone else in this room does too. Coterie doesn't want this to happen. He doesn't want us to be fed to the jaws of the wolf, as it were. Now, wait a second. He can't possibly mean... Miss Julia, once again your full name eludes me at the moment. Am I allowed to speak? Or maybe I should wait for permission before I make up my mind. The sheriff sighs deeply and speaks. Sawinski. Miss Julia Sawinski, right? I understand you used to be an investigative journalist before your embrace. 1, 2, or 3? Folks? One. That's correct. Among others, the Banu Hakim Primogen insisted that you are worthy of greater privileges and should be given a chance to prove yourself. Samira measures Arturia with suspicion. Yes. Do you still think she's capable? She looks me deep in the eye. I swear she's telepathically trying to tell me, please, please, please don't fuck this up, you dumbass little white girl. Brilliant. Of course. Good. And I'm sure that you, Al-Samai, have no problem with your protege embarking on this mission, save for the pain a mother feels when watching her child leave the nest. Whether I do or don't is not particularly important right now, is it? I love it this whole time he's still wearing the mask. Like, everybody's removed their masks or outfits, but not Kadir. It absolutely is. Panhard's backing of Artura momentarily blindsides him. Prince Panhard, if Artura's plan is reckless, I want you to tell me. I need a simple yes or no answer. Is the girl capable? Now he's left with no choice. I wouldn't entrust her with all the responsibilities that I have if she wasn't. He exchanges glances with me, but his look is different than Samira's. It's as if he's trying to apologize to me. Here we are then. A recommendation from the Banu Hakim Primogen and the Sheriff. And to tell you the truth, I was throwing out ideas, but with this backing, I can't doubt that the Knight Clan's representative will get the job done. I'm certain each of us feels the same. Mr. Payne? The atmosphere in the room mostly suggests people are glad they don't have to discuss the topic further. A shrug here, an inverted gaze there. It is as you say. I'll watch the way she handles this suggestion with great interest. Well then, Miss Sawinski, looks like you've got your chance for a big break. Ooh, there's some interesting options here. 1, 2, or 3. I discourage option 2, but hey, do what you want. Three was the first one that I saw, simply because I wasn't too sure if the previous ones were the last one. Big break doesn't mean much by itself. All I see is a big responsibility being placed on my shoulders. What do I stand to gain here exactly? Even though I'd normally jump at the chance to be useful, I play it cool. All of a sudden, not everyone acknowledges my existence, but believes I can handle solving a tense criminal case. If something seems too good to be true. Let's not be vulgar now. You stand to improve your standing at the court. Yes, we can discuss the particulars based on your performance. Yeah, they don't plan on giving me shit. Figures. It's not like I can refuse, but this is something I need to take into account while taking care of this case. I need a bargaining position if I want to get anything out of this. Yeah, I'll do it. Just point me in the right direction and tell me what to do. Excellent. That leaves us with only one matter. That leaves us with only one more matter, which I hope we can agree on. Oh, he's put his mask back on. Prince Panhard singles someone with their hand. The figure emerges from behind the corner. Oh! You're at the party, Katerina the Wise. Good evening. Catherine, what a pleasant surprise. Nobody informed us you were in town. Addison, looking healthier than ever. And what does Vise have to do with it? We need an impartial observer who everyone respects, and as it happens, Catherine always knows how to make friends on both sides without angering either. I beg to differ. I'd be grateful if just for once you decided against throwing a tantrum about me, High Regent. A painful grimace crosses Elzen's face, but she is quick to interpret the taunt as an invitation to a game she can't possibly win. As long as she can prove herself useful to the proceedings in some way. In half of what I've heard about her from Mr. Van der Van, as the Malkavian Primogen, is true, she'd be able to. And what did poor Carter say about me this time? Nothing specific. One always has to read between the lines of him, but it was mostly envy. Miss Vise gratefully agreed to mediate between the Anarch representative and the La Sombra representative, ensuring mutual cooperation and mitigating potential conflicts. That is very interesting. A La Sombra and a Bruja in Camarilla territory is not suspicious at all. Well, Christophe Romuald, it's your sire of all people. If you allow me to be in character for a moment. That felt like a Feudrin slip. La Sombra representative, not Camarilla representative. I.e., someone who can be capitulated from the sect without much damage to the Ivory Tower if they mess up. Is there a meeting set up? Arturo looks at the clock on the other side of the room. In less than an hour. You better hurry along then. What the hell? A lot of this is happening so fast. If the situation is indeed under control, I will drive her and oversee the situation. He really does not want us to get hurt. Out of the question. You've got your orders, Sheriff. Attend to those. You fool. The girl needs guidance. Oh, he's removed his mask now. And we need yours. Nobody knows what might happen next. They're trying to get rid of us, aren't they? But it's not as if the Anarchs have a lot of love for you, Al-Samai. You're too efficient in your duties for them to tolerate you. Better spare Miss Alinsky having them see you two together. Yeah, it's getting real serious. He's not usually this passionate, or at least we're not used to it. Do you think my guidance of Julia would be lacking, Kadir? I never said that. So, do you have any objections to putting her under my care? He lowers his gaze, but seems reassured. None whatsoever. That's all I needed to hear. We'll be going then. Wasting no time as usual, I see. Have you at least tried the aperitifs? Wait is an old person's game, Helen. I still feel young. Of course she looks 16. She's quite old. She is probably the oldest vampire in the room. God, when was she embraced? I'm gonna have to go back in my memory. 1146, I want to say, is when she was embraced. It's definitely like the mid 12th century. So, as I said, she is the oldest vampire in this room by quite a while. The fact that she hasn't been summoned to the beckoning is quite remarkable. Remember, if there's anything you need help with. Probably not, but I appreciate the thought nevertheless. Have a great night, everyone. I'll catch up with you later, Addison. I think it's really interesting they've been so pleasant with her, because as I said in the previous episode, Catherine, or Catalina the Wise, became the Archbishop of New York, the head of the Sabbat. So, I don't know why they're being so pleasant with her. No, she's not dead. So it would seem. I certainly hope you do. And so we leave. In a rush. Funny considering what she told me about being in a hurry yesterday. We're here. She thanks the chauffeur and lets me out of the car into a quiet neighbourhood somewhere in Queens. Seemed like you were in a rush. I couldn't stand the crowd. She's honest, probably performatively so just got into my good graces. Well, it's working. And why is that? In my experience, gatherings like those always enable boring pack mentality. All the familiar lies we tell ourselves to justify lusting for more repeated or ad nauseum. I love the lighting in this game. Oh, it's just beautiful. Really makes the character model stand out far more. Okay, which option? 1, 2, or 3? I saw 2, and then the other 2 appeared, so apologies for that. 2. Speaking of lies, you seem honest, but yesterday you told me not to rush. And I stand by it. Do as I say, not as I do. That's the best advice I can give you. I definitely need more advice than that. Back at the art hole, you said something about guiding me, but I have still no idea what you do. None whatsoever. I had a few necessary arrangements to make over the phone before we got here to ensure your pretty little head stays attached to your neck. For now, anyway. I am grateful, but I still feel way out of my depth. I need to know what to do. You used to make a living as an investigative journalist, did you not? Investigate the murder. In TV shows, an investigative journalist gets too close to the heart of a politically incendiary case. It rarely goes well. A cat's head on their porch, a bullet to the head. So, are you afraid you might be a pawn in a game you don't understand? That your elders consider you a disposable asset? That a single wrong move might cost you everything you hold dear? That sounds about right, yeah. Well, by the sound of it, you understand your situation perfectly. Don't belittle me. I need your advice. Be anything you want to be, but don't be boring, Julia. If I wanted to belittle you, I would have drowned you in platitudes long ago. Know thyself. Believe in your strength. Trust no one. Act confident. Turn the chessboard around and read your opponent's mind. Read Sun Tzu and quote him insensately. Say, do you feel any better now? Can I ask you something? Seeing as Mia is still not here, of course. Do you know who killed Baron Callahan? I haven't the slightest idea. Were you emotionally impacted by his death? Not at all. Do you know him? Only passingly, I'm afraid. I expected more to perish sooner than later. I expected him to perish sooner than later, so I never bothered to improve our relationship. Why are you helping me? Am I? That remains to be seen. What do you mean? You do not want a painfully honest answer. But I do. She stares me down. Her irrelevant tone makes me impossible to guess what she's feeling. Even more so than the mask. When I look at you, I see someone pitiful, someone whose hunger is purely biological, just an animalistic rush. When I saw a burgeoning plan to put you in a situation that is a way beyond your capabilities, I offered my help. I was curious to see your true colours reveal themselves firsthand. When everything is said and done and Callahan's killer is pointed out, you'll be a whimpering animal or a When everything is said and done and Callahan's killer is pointed out, will you be a whimpering animal or a victor taking the spoils? I cannot wait to find out. I don't know what to say. Is she provoking me, or... Mia should be here any second. You have time for one more question. One more question. Which one? Now, I can tell you the last question, if you want, but you may want to hear what she has to say about it. So, I saw one. What makes you... What do you... There. What do you hold to do so much... I can't fucking read today. What do you do to hold so much sway over this city? I have the best occupation in the world, and I made sure nobody is better at it than I am. And that occupation is... a salicyllite. A socialite. And that was your last question. Direct the rest of them to her. A woman round my eye emerges from around the corner of the street. Oh, I thought I recognised Mia. Mia's the anarch that we met in Coteries of New York. I've never met her before, but if I had to describe her in 2 words, by her aura alone, I guess those words would be permanently angry, even more so than your average anarch. You must be Catherine Vyse, and you must be Mia Morgan. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. The pleasure's mutual. This your girl. Julia Sawinski, the La Sombra Primogen. The La Sombra representative. I like that change in dynamic, where we've barely been acknowledged in the city as someone who exists. We are Keeper of Elysium, but she refers to us as the proper title. Well, given we are the only La Sombra in the city, we are the La Sombra representative, and Katerina calls us the Primogen. It's a very interesting dynamic she's got going on. I correct her automatically. At this point, it's a habit. Good. If you're a Primogen, I might have to try to... if you were a Primogen, I might have tried to kill you here and now. Is Talk still on the site? Nah, I told him I'd take it from here. By the end of tonight, he needs to look like a natural candidate for the lead of the New York City Anarchs. It's going to take a lot of driving around and negotiations. How did he react to finding Callahan's remains? He hasn't exactly elaborated on his feelings, but I expect he reacted the same way every true believer in the course did. It's this complicated mess of all possible feelings under the moon. So he was the first one who to murder the site. Sorry. So he was the first one who to murder the site. I think there's some words missing there. So he was the first one who to murder the site. That sentence needs rewriting. Oh, so you're already calling it a murder site. Does the Ivory Tower know something we don't? It's not the official position, but I expect a lot of them to think it's Talk who stood to benefit the most in the boss's death, and it sounds like he's quick to jump on new opportunities. You don't know him. Yes, but I'd love to meet him and ask him some questions, especially if he is the one who found the body. Well, if you're meeting Talk at all, it won't be tonight. He's too busy. I was assigned to investigate. I won't be able to do it properly if I'm not able to question a key witness. I'll arrange for him to see you this week. This week? Aren't the tensions a little too high for delaying an investigation like this? Talk's work is our best shot at making sure they won't get higher, so boo fucking who. I'm his right-hand woman, though. So you got any questions, direct them to me. Maybe the two of you should head to Callahan's office. The discussion here does not seem to be going in the right direction, nor in a particularly interesting one. You're not coming? Talk and you are not the only ones who have their work cut out for them tonight. I trust you can make it from here? And Mia, be easy on her. In slightly different circumstances, I expect the two of you would have ended up on the same side of the barricades. Uh-huh. I believe they're referring to the original position of the La Sombra, being the original Anarchs. And I'm getting the impression that Ekaterina, she's more autarkous than Sabat now. Take care. She heads back to her vehicle. Well, follow me. I'll show you his place. It's a 19th century style office. Classical, wooden, smelly. The stuffy air of books, old furniture and dust covers much of the fragrance of decay, but not all of it. This is the first time I've seen the remains of a vampire who has met final death. I heard stories of reality of old Kindred crumbling to dust, but as an exaggeration at least. It didn't happen here. When a Kindred die, time catches up with them. If you offed me right now, I'd probably turn into an ugly, leaky corpse. But Callahan was well over a century old. It's like looking at a dapper mummy. A desiccated body and a heap of musty clothes. All that is left of the mighty boss Douglas Callahan, Anarch Baron of New York City. If that's really him. Needless to say, it might be a little hard to establish the time of death or cause, especially as his garb doesn't have any obvious damage. What a great place to start. Have you already found anything suspicious? Nothing you don't see right in front of you. Uh-huh. This door is the only point of entry to the room, right? Yes, unless you count the windows, but nobody expected Callahan knew how to operate those, and they don't let air or light through, though. Oh, and they don't let air or light through. Investigated the death of the CEO of racism. Excuse me. Or at least a figurehead of it. Metal blinders on the windows facing east. The only modern element of the room, sticking out like a sore thumb. They look automated. Was the door open when Talk got here? Well, that's the one suspicious thing. It wasn't. It's as if Callahan locked himself from the inside. A closed-room murder, huh? There's some glass scattered on the floor. I point at it. Could that be from the window? I checked it from the outside. It's in perfect condition. So what's this glass? I have no idea. Why does it seem like she has her suspicions but is remaining uncooperative just because our fuck-off Camarilla scum? I check the next point of interest. A wall safe. Surprisingly large. Oh yes, it's the thing above the lantern. I play with the lock for a bit. What's the combination? It's Callahan's. What makes you think I know? At least I tried. One moment, have to grab a delivery. No, it's Emma that does all the barking. Holly doesn't really bark unless it's one of my neighbour's dogs. Yeah, Emma's the loud, balky one. Bork, bork, bork. A desk with nothing but an envelope on it, but nothing inside. I check all the drawers. Every single one of them has been thoroughly emptied. I don't know what I expected. Is this how the anarchs go around securing crime scenes? Ah, don't worry, Milkless, it's fine. It can be confusing sometimes. Were these emptied before Talk arrived? I don't know, but I wouldn't accuse him of tampering with evidence if I were you. Well, thank you. The decor of the room is pretty minimal, so there's not a lot of points of interest that could illuminate the case. I start getting nervous. I point at the painting on the wall. Of course you have no idea who that is. Callahan's ancestor, I guess. I'm out of ideas. Everything I look at feels like another dead end. I'm frustrated. I feel as if I failed this investigation before it has even started. There must be something more. I start walking around, trying to find a single clue. Mia just watches me indifferently. Give me anything. Anything, god damn it. Anything. Any... A ghost appears. The boyfriend showed up and is standing here. Everyone say hi. Hi! A shadow blinks in out of existence near Callahan's remains. I freeze in place. I was curious when her oblivion was going to sneak in. Which option, folks? 1, 2, or 3? Correct answer. Are you trying to help me? What are you mumbling about? In case you missed it, I'm not particularly fond of your sect. Doesn't seem like Mia noticed it. Give me just a moment more. She groans under her nose and goes back to messaging someone on her phone. When she does, the shadow appears again. Once again, blink in, blink out. Could something be there? I approach the clothes and start searching them for a clue. Maybe they missed something. Getting desperate, huh? Just being thorough. We searched the bastard like 3 times. He had nothing of interest on him. How about this? A small card, barely noticeable, looking a bit like a shopping list, is shoved deep down into an almost invisible hole in the fabric. I take it out and show it to Mia. Huh. You didn't plant that there, did you? No. Did you? Shove off. What's on it? It's a list of 4 names. D'Angelo, Hope, Agathon, Tamaka. Those are our coterie members of the previous game. Who helped us out in a pinch when we were captured by the Second Inquisition? Huh. I'm going to hazard a guess that Callahan was trying to find a way to kill us. Let's see what happens now. Any idea what this is about? Beats me. She's lying, but I don't care. Tomorrow night I'll meet up with Kadir and ask him to help me figure it out. Think I'm done here. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Guess she sees me as nothing more than an enemy agent. When will I get to meet with Talk? If, and that's a big if, he will agree to meet you on a one-on-one basis, Catherine will let you know. He probably won't let a loyal Camarilla lapdog like you seem without her... I'll try that again. He probably won't let a loyal Camarilla lapdog like you see him without her oversight anyway. A Camarilla lapdog, huh? It's a risky play, of course, and might backfire, but maybe I'd benefit if I put my loyalty to the court into question. Which one, folks? 1 or 2? One. A Camarilla lapdog, please. Well, aren't you? Trust me, I'm not the type who bites the hand that feeds her, but the court's favourite pastime is leaving me starved. Ah, so it's like that, huh? Yeah. Trait updated, and got a trophy. Who am I, really? What are these traits that we're being told? Is there anything on the pause menu that can tell us? No. Hmm. Hmm. Basically, I think we've just done something that's contributed towards a particular ending that we're going to get, because I believe this game has 4 endings. So, we've already beginning a path down the Anarch route, I suppose? Oh well, we'll find out. Dialogue boxes, top left. L2. Ah. Loyal only to myself. Thank you, Sangal. I did not notice that. Oh, and Christoph Romuald as well. Thank you to both of you. Huh. Loyal only to myself. I'll have to keep an eye on those then and see what happens. She studies me carefully. I will. Keep that in mind, depending on how the situation unfolds. Oh, sorry, I read that wrong. I will keep that in mind. Good. In the meantime, have a good night. You too. It's getting late. Or early, depending on how you look at it. Once I leave Callahan's office, I head straight to Dakota's apartment. I tried to sneak by to my bedroom, but she's up waiting for me. How was your night? Shit. Tomorrow. What happened? You look like something the cat dragged in. Tomorrow. I promise. But I'm worried. Don't be. Tomorrow. She gives me a concerned look, then closes her eyes, slumps her shoulders and frowns. Alright. You're the best. Oh. I reach my pitch-black room and throw myself on the bed. The responsibilities, the stakes, the way I always feel too slow to react properly in these situations. I don't want to think, I want to turn off my brain, I want to drift into the void. Into the void. Into the void. Into the void. And another trophy, Accidental PI. Okay, we can only rest, we can't do the thing at the top. Tutorial, okay. You have received your first trait. Some choices in the game will push Julia towards different ways of thinking, which will leave a lasting effect on her throughout the story. You will see a brief pop-up on the top screen any time that you receive a new trait. You can always view any unlocked traits on the log screen accessed through the top left icon. Remember that ruthlessness is the mark of a true La Sombra, but you might want to walk another path before reaching that decision. Ha. Interesting stuff indeed. Oh my goodness me. That is cute and hot. I always told you you'd make it big. Get real. These assholes are just using me as a pawn in some stupid fourth-dimensional chess game. As opposed to just keeping you off the chessboard. Don't be a glass half empty buzzkill. Watch them make me a scapegoat or something. That would be exciting. I could write a book about living with a 21st century Lee Harvey Oswald. Come on, don't even joke like that. I haven't killed anyone. Julie, honey, neither did Oswald. Yeah, right. I keep forgetting. Stop wriggling or I'll mess up your face. Or I'll mess your face up. Sorry. I'm always obedient when she's busy working on my makeup. It's hard to take care of your appearance, especially your face, when you can't even see yourself in the mirror. Not that I've ever been particularly good at it, but Dakota doesn't seem to mind. I'm her goth dress-up doll. Her presence in my own life is one of the few good things that my sire provided for me before fucking off to Chicago. Normally I'd be told to find myself a ghoul, but many of our clan, myself included, finds the ideas of ghouls distasteful. The Sabbat in general actually don't like using ghouls. We're cat people, not dog people. We don't want mindlessly faithful servants. We want companions who rely on us, despite having, in theory anyway, the free will not to. Yeah, sounds about right. The kind of relationship I have with Dakota would normally be a breach of the Masquerade rules, but the rules are different for Kindred who are Camarilla adjacent, even losers like me. Simplifying here, but my sire made it clear that her child would not own slaves, and that was the end of the discussion. Trying to explain what is going on right now now to the bot and for comments. So the somber are old Irish people. So the somber are old Irish people, can't use technology and don't have a reflection. Nope, they do not. And they don't do well with light either. To be honest, I think the court mostly agreed to that request because they wanted one more thing to blackmail me with, just in case. What would you do in my place? If I had to investigate your elite's wrongdoings? Yeah. I'd probably look for those rich fucks' paedophile rings, look for the assholes who mention pieces suspiciously often, see who has powerful friends in Manhattan jail, stuff like that. Oh, come on. Now I'm serious. Search for the deep rot, and a lot of smaller crimes will just get solved in the process. What is it with you and conspiracy theories? What do you mean? You just told me your bosses are having eyes wide shut parties, and suddenly you don't believe in rich people's paedophile rings. I don't know. I don't know if I want to know. My point is you act as if all the conspiracy theories are real. Like, you can't possibly believe all that shit. Half of it doesn't make sense. Well, you want an interesting answer or a real answer? There's a real answer. The real answer should be a more interesting one. She removes her brush from my face to gather her thoughts. Everyone's lost nowadays. Just look at the world. It's drowning in facts that fail to cohere into a single convincing narrative, or a story that resonates. The corporate media wants you to believe in empirical thinking, but it always fails to deliver moral or metaphysical truths, and the people desperately lack those. So what do? They turn to I know what that word's supposed to say. Conspiracists, that will do. And suddenly they're able to navigate the world. And why is that? Because conspiracy theories gives them emotional truths that serve as a compass. Is Bill Gates trying to insert satanic microchips into my body? Probably not. I hope not. Now, is he a terrible person? No idea. But there's ample evidence that he might be the case. It's in his ruthless business strategies, the company he used to keep, the philosophies he follows. People look at him and they feel he's fishy, so when the media present him as a genius or a saviour, and I post that he wants to put the mark of the beast in my body, they choose to believe me. Because it makes moral, emotional and metaphysical sense to them. And emotionally, that's what matters the most. The end. 1, 2 or 3? Wow. I'm 99% sure this is complete bullshit, but I'm buying it. I mean, it's totally misrepresents most conspiracy nut jobs I knew. But it's interesting and fun to think about, so I don't really give a damn if it's the truth. See? That's the idea. You get it. You came up with this monologue yourself. Oh no, I read it on Facebook. Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, figures. But just to make sure, vaccines are okay? Well, as far as I know, they don't cause autism. Good to hear. The funny thing is, the whole argument was that it was a specific brand of vaccine called the MMR vaccination, but, you know, it's fucking Chinese whispers on the internet. Anywho, I'm dumb. You're the best. Yeah, considering how many times I've done makeup on a dead body, I probably have enough job experience to be a mortician by now. Now that sounds like an exciting career, but in reality, it's probably the most boring thing under the sun. Yeah, I like my corpses talkative, pouty, and self-loathing. Shut up. This carcass will be leaving now. It's got a job to do. Go get him, Tiger. Aw. I love those two. First thing I need to do, meet up with Kadir tonight and report to him. I hope he knows how to guide me out of this mess. He should have time for me in an hour or two. In the meantime, I suppose it's time to find some... What's the natural, most dehumanizing word I could use here? Nourishment. My phone's ringing. I'm just going to disappear and see who that is. I'm going to turn the mic off and be back. Like I said, more in Chinese whispers. Anyway, it was nothing important on the phone, it was just my opticians telling me my new glasses were ready to be delivered, so I guess I'm going to be picking those up sometime this coming week and basically my town centre where no fucker is wearing any masks. So, yay! Panic attack in the opticians again. Anyway, moving on. I suppose it's time to find some... What's the most dehumanizing word I could use here? Nourishment. Kadir told me I need to quench my hunger less often if I didn't smoke. If it kills you, he said. It kills you, he said. But to start killing itself, your organism must pretend it's alive, that it uses up precious vitae. But I love cigarettes. The way they smell, the way they burn, the hot ash falling from the top, the sound of the lighter. If there's anybody who's quitting smoking, ignore all of this. This is a lie. The way they kill you, of course. And I guess I need some tactile connection to who I was back when I was alive. Okay, New York City. Guide my steps. Show me which one of your children I should drink up tonight. We've got 3 people to choose from. And I recognise all of these people because they were in Coteries of New York. Diva's Delight, a slap on the wrist, Bunny as a reporter. Okay, let's read all of these in turn. Diva's Delight, a fitting name for a kiss addict audacious enough to openly pitch a unique taste to those in the know. I'm not in a clubbing mood, but since I need to feed, might as well give that rumour a shot. Yes, the Diva's Delight is referring to... Right at the beginning of Coteries of New York, we fed on a ghoul who always got off on the fact of being fed, like was addicted to being... But you know, being bitten, because it's a very orgasmic experience in Vampire. So we can go and see the ghoul, who's on her own because Sophie's dead. A slap on the wrist. Samira is asking me to meet her. If not for the ongoing celebrations, the patrician would prove an old choice for a secret rendezvous. Here's hoping she can provide some useful insight into the case. Okay. And then there's this option. The note left at my old dead drop point reads, Bunny as a reporter. Shit. Could it be Woods? Long time no see. What does one do when the ghost of Christmas past knocks on the door? Did anyone know that the word kind is archaic word for cattle? Just found out. No, I didn't. Okay, so I'm going to hazard a guess that we're going to have the chance to visit multiple people. So we'll see Samira first. Okay, which one's next? The reporter or the ghoul? Just trying to work out the order that we're going to do these in. Presuming that we get some options in. Bunny. Okay, so we'll do Samira, reporter, ghoul. Okay. A clean-cut staff member dressed in an impeccable company uniform smiles at me as the elevator door opens. Good evening, ma'am. Meeting someone? I dismiss his question with an apathetic shrug. He sizes me up for a brief moment. visibly questioning my fashion sense. However, his professional acumen quickly trumps his discontent. Very well. This way, please. NYC's Noivore Rich seem awfully staving for a gourmet soup this late at night. The patrician is packed almost to the brim. The concierge points me over to the last vacant table, conveniently situated in a far-off corner on the main hall. I nestle in the chair, letting my elbows rest on the ornate tablecloth. Watch out, oblivious white collars, there's a black widow in your midst. Well, I'm here, might as well just kick back and idle out of boredom. Yeah. I really, really need something to occupy my mind. Which option, folks? 1, 2, or 3? Two it is. That's the first one I saw. As I'm waiting, I rack my brain for any idea why the Banu Hakim Primogen wanted me here tonight, instead of out there, working my case. The obvious possibility, and the one I'm counting on, is that she is some sort of lead she wasn't comfortable sharing at Elysium. I'm almost certain there's false hope, though. This whole investigation still feels like a joke being told at my expense. While I'm trying to figure out how I feel about this, somebody finally takes notice of me. The concierge quickly closes in on me, dancing habitually between the tables, and addresses me before I can even utter a single word. "Excuse me, ma'am, are you Miss Sawinski by chance?" As soon as I nod, he hands me a carefully folded memo and leaves. The note reads, "The manager of this establishment insulted the Camarilla's authority with his negligence. Even though it's minor, his transgression must be penalized. I would like you to assist me in this matter." Such a display of goodwill on your part would surely improve your standing with the higher-ups. Choose an appropriate non-lethal punishment. S. Well, this is disappointing. It was a high order to expect any help with the investigation. I guess instead, just another chore. The best I can hope for is that this really is just a friendly request and not a deliberate attempt to derail my work this early in the game. Ugh. Damn it. Might as well get it done since I'm here already, so I can move on with the more pressing stuff. I swiftly approach the manager and tap him on the shoulder. He furrows his brow as soon as he notices me. "I'm afraid I'm busy. One of the waiting staff should be able to... We have something to discuss. The VIP lounge. Now, if you please." His face loses colour. Maybe it has dawned on him that I'm even paler than the other more blue-blooded guests. He immediately becomes compliant as I escort him through a side door. One moment, I have to put some eye drops in my dog's eye. 'Cause she lacks tear ducts in one of them. The eye in question. Hello, Holly. No, you're lying on the wrong side. I can't get it like you knew. Look. There we go, there's a good look. Yes, you will. Okay, you can go back to sleep. Oh, some interesting piano playing. The room isn't empty, but its guests are just leaving. Nobody pays me any attention. The manager is as polite as he can be as he sees the patrons out, but I can see he's clearly losing his shit. He quietly asks one of his staff to give him 5 minutes in the lounge and gingerly closes the doors behind him. Then the pleading starts. "Listen, I know I screwed up. I shouldn't have let him in. And I could have known he's not one of the proper clients. I don't give a... Listen, hey, I implore you, I have children for Christ's sake. There must be something, an arrangement, a way to..." He just goes on as if I'm not even here, which subsequent whimper becomes more and more irritating. 1 or 2? 1. Just shut up for a goddamn second. My outburst finally makes him hold his tongue. I light up the last cig in the package and take a slow puff, trying to compose myself. I have no use for your explanations and justifications. I don't know what sort of transgression you've committed. I should have never let this Sandsquick guy in. And truth be told, I don't give a shit. It would never happen again. I swear on my mother's grave. Just, I'm not a good judge of character, but pleading with his arms out really makes him look like a biblical wayward son, swearing to change his ways. Oh, so my dog Emma's just sort of collapsed on my legs, resting their head on my... Oh, this isn't very comfy, Emma, but I'll put up with it. Okay, 1 or 2. Can I move my phone closer? Yes, I can. There's so many numbers I can't tell which one's which. One or 2? I saw 2 just on the cuff there. I approach him slowly with the nastiest smile I can muster. With my every step, the sound of his voice falters ever so slightly, until all that is left is the ambience of the room and the main lobby behind. Then I put my finger right in his face. This is your last fucking chance. If I ever have to come here again... As I show him a throat-slitting gesture, the faint scent of urine begins to spread through the room. Jesus Christ, my words exactly. If I ever could see myself in the mirror right now. I don't want to be here for a second longer. I take off. Well done, Milkless, you made him piss himself. I realised how close I was to ripping this guy a new asshole. Karen warned me that something in our bloodline finds snivelling weaklings detestable. Is that what triggered me? You know, that was just going on in the back of my mind as that was happening. But that's a conundrum for another occasion. I did what I was asked, and I'm sure as hell wasted enough time here. I should move on. Okay, so we went to the report... It was the reporter next, wasn't it? Yes. Honestly, sweeping through every evergreen cemetery in search of Nigel Woods was the last thing I expected to be doing tonight. And yet, here I am. The past refuses to let me out of its grip, even for a few days. I don't want to play with you anymore. Me? Well, as I said, it's the first option that I see. It's not a race or competition or anything. Well, in a sense it is, but I'm not singling you out or anything. Hell, a black glimmer almost ran me over on my way here. Just can't get a break, can I? It takes me less than a minute to find Nigel. He's standing next to the gravestone of John Bunny, one of the most famous actors of the 1910s. Why there exactly? Well, the man is paranoid, which is why we were forced to come up with such an unpredictable method of choosing rendezvous points. It had to be ambiguous enough to seem incidental to a casual onlooker, but reasonably uncomplicated so that this dumbass couldn't mess it up. So we decided on silent film actors. Whenever he wanted to meet, he left me a note with an obscure movie title. Then I only had to look up who starred in it and made my way to the final resting place. Yeah, maybe it feels somewhat goofy and unnecessary, but it's also been fun. And ridiculing Woods for his paranoia would be a classic case of the pot calling the kettle black. There he is, idling his away on his smartphone, rapidly swiping left with noticeably increasing frustration. Too many girls who actually know what they want from life in row, Nigel. Don't worry, I'm definitely not that type. When he sees me, he reacts as if he's seen a ghost, a regular comedian. The man halts a few feet away from me and crosses his arms, giving me a dirty look. What the hell are you up to these days, Sarnsky? Too busy for your old pal? You never write, you never call. He puts on this completely unconvincing frown, but he quickly loses it, bursting into sincere laughter. Shit, Jules. Not gonna lie, it's good to see you. Looking good, gal. I mean, you're still as doom and gloom, and even paler than usual, but I always had a soft spot for your bony ass. Come in and give your uncle a hug. Which one, folks? 2. Correct answer. I extend my arms, stiffening my lips in a parody of a smile, and let the perv come closer. It seems Benoit uses his face to cope with his misery, however he's not very subtle. No, he's not. Benoit isn't very subtle. As soon as his arms lengthens, I take a swing and wipe that grin off his face with a vicious bitch slap. He groans in an exaggerated way and raises his hands in surrender. Alright, I get it. And to think we used to... Cut to the chase, Woods. This wasn't a social invitation, and I have only so much patience for your innuendos. What do you want? Still quick to get right to the point, huh? Very well. I've been trying to put together a piece on some particularly unseemly business in the deep web. One of my plugs pointed me into the direction of the double spiral. Saying that... Double spiral? Am I even surprised that name keeps coming up again and again? It still kinda haunts me. Of course I made sure it would. I would still keep tabs on Montgomery from time to time, constantly relieving those 16 months I saved away for nothing. It might have been just another part of Karen's hazy ritual, but I have a feeling that even if it wasn't the case, Brian would have still be told to kill the story. Some dirt on the internet, on this internet whiz. She goes by the name of Hope. She supposedly had some close dealings with the Montgomery clan. Ever heard of her? Not an expert on the concept, can't say I'm familiar with this person in question either. Hope, of course, being the beautifully amazing Malkavian that we spoke to and did a quest line for in Coteries of New York. Yes, very, very well written Malkavian. I'm lying, of course, feigning apathy. The name strikes a chord, being one of the 4 jotted down on Callahan's list. Coincidence? Kadir insisted I shouldn't believe in these. As far as I can tell, she's mostly involved in some kinky porno stuff involving scorpophilia, body maiming, lots of blood. Shit's borderline occult. My cover's blown though. I think someone's after me. Still, I've got a few useful leads which I'd happily exchange for some Benjamins before I go AWOL. Interested? Knowing him, those few leads are completely worthless, but with this his luck, he really might have strayed into dangerous waters. What's useless to him might prove useful to me. If I play along, he won't even know I'm no longer in his line of work. Did you expect me to buy your intel sight unseen? No dice, Nigel. Break it down for me. I won't screw you over. You know me better than that. He sighs audibly, seizing me up and down. After a brief moment, he raises his voice again. Alright. What do you want to know? 1, 2, or 3? I mean, it seems a bit obvious which one we go for, but I could be wrong. 2. Whatever your porn-addicted ass considers to be value. Nigel closes his eyes, pondering where to begin. Now, this might sound complicated, so can I send you some helpful YouTube videos later, but here you go. So for the next few minutes, Nigel explains his findings while desperately trying and mostly failing to make them sound like something more than dumb urban legends. Among these many threads, he mentions blood trafficking, secret turf wars, a coven of Masonic lodge types, the biblical flood, and businessmen consorting with the devil in search of immortality. That's basically the Camarilla. To common ears, all this would probably sound like some Bozal conspiracy theory, but from what I can gather, he's flying dangerously close to the sun. At the moment, he doesn't know jack shit, and he has no proof of anything, meaning he doesn't pose any danger to the Masquerade. But his conviction in following every possible lead has made me work with him in the first place. God damn it, I'm not sure if I can just let him go. You know, Nigel, I actually watched our friend John Bunny here portray a reporter in one of his silent pictures. In the film, he disguised himself as a woman and infiltrated a secret suffrage meeting. Of course, he fucked it all up and got chased up a tree by an angry, axe-wielding liberationist. This is the kind of journalism makes infinitely more sense than the bullshit you're spouting right now. Sorry. I'm just going to have a drink, my throat feels a bit dry. And that's the last of my stale water. I know how it sounds, Jules, but I have this itch in the back of my head telling me there's more to it than it seems. And you know my sixth sense hardly ever fails me. I think it's horseshit, and I'll leave it at that. She uses horseshit. I say horseshit. We are made to each other. So what about that Hope girl? Got something worth pursuing? Maybe. She's an enigma, a total fucking mystery. The only thing I'm certain of is that she exists and enjoys streaming for an exclusive audience. Supposedly she's into cryptocurrencies. You know, those Bitcoin things. I could never make sense of any sense of it. It's a scramble, I know, but I promise you that somewhere within lies a juicy story for someone like you to pursue. Hell, I have a hunch that if we join forces, we might really hit it big this time. Thoughts? The poor idiot. This entail of his sounds like a cheap pulp novel. No one in their right mind is going to pay a dime for it. It will ruin his credibility if he still has any. Yeah, I can English. If he persists spreading this bullshit, it will probably completely neuter his ability to harm us eventually. But if the Ivory Tower gets wind of activities, Kadir is going to get involved. He's going to ask questions, and the answers will get both me and Nigel into trouble. You're awfully quiet, Jules. Speak up, you're creeping me out. Choice time. I suggest the bottom one, but let's see what you guys want to do. 2. All one going for 2. Amazing. I'm sorry, Nigel. Just a bit, but still. What? He freezes in place as I gaze into his eyes. There's no blood trafficking or secret turf wars going on in New York City. You have nothing on Double Spiral, and there is no hope. You have made it all up. The idea you have instead is a non-fiction book about toxic masculinity. You're going to do your research and you're going to pitch the book to everyone as a real expert on the subject. I have to say, she did a fucking good job there, because usually you can only rewrite one specific memory, but she's just wiped out quite a lot of stuff there, and she's rewritten it, so that's kind of a good she succeeded in those roles pretty well. He stands there completely perplexed, suppressing layers of rewritten memories. With his mouth wide open, stuck in a bizarre pose, he looks like a total goofball. I can't help but snort. John Bunny wouldn't compare, especially if our guy really follows his programming and a comedy of verse. I'm going to do that again. I can't help but snort. John Bunny couldn't compare, especially if our guy really follows his programming and a comedy of error ensures. He's going to recover in a complete couple of minutes, but I'm not sticking around. This trick has taken its toll on me. I can only keep my fingers crossed that it sticks. Best to bury the memory of this meeting along with the rest of my past. Alright, it's about time I head to see Kadir. Maybe Kara is of lower generation. You mean Karen? Maybe. We don't know. No idea. Mighty kind of him to arrange a meeting in the place that's most convenient for me. Ooh, that's pretty cool. I mean, she looks very different now, but it's pretty cool. Oh shit, that's even worse about... D'Angelo, Hope, Tamaka, Agathon. I suppose that's better than nothing, but no evidence. Really? Honestly, it felt as someone had already cleaned up the most egregious stuff before I arrived. Sounds like the Anarchs. I'll definitely try and check that place again, but I feel I need some sort of expert to accompany me. An advanced investigator who would show me the ropes. Someone tall and handsome, maybe? Yeah, if you don't mind a diplomatic incident, I'll go with you. Any better ideas? Actually, the very note gave me one, but I'll need to set it up first. I'll get back to you about that. You know, these people. I've had passing contact with each of them, part and parcel of the job, you know. I suppose, can you help me out with this? The way I tackled it would be, look at one person on the list every night, ask around about them and see what they know if you do manage to meet them. If I manage to meet them, they're not particularly easy to get hold of. Always preferred to be a little off the grid, but nowadays they're all practically in hiding. if not MIA or dead. Funny coincidence? It is not my job to speculate. In other words, he knows nothing, but he is not at liberty to say. Oh, he knows something, but is not at liberty to say. Guess I'll find out anyway, if I do meet them. And why one night each? Shouldn't I investigate every loose thread until we're satisfied? In a perfect world, you'd have all the time you needed, but this is not a perfect world. They'll try to brute force a solution to the case as soon as possible. I suspect that, for 4 nights from now, once the celebration powers are over, they'll ask for your findings, and that will be all. Huh. So we've got to choose our time carefully then. Well, fortunately, we know a little bit about hope. It's not much, but it's a good start, I hope. That was an unintended pun. Memphis. Hello there. Is that nice for you to join? Fucked up. To be brutally honest, my focus would be on solving the murder. Instead, I'd focus on not embarrassing yourself. Fucked up. This is part of why I didn't want you to get involved. You couldn't possibly think Arturo had you involved out of the goodness of his heart. This entirety of your investigation is just for show. You're meant to be an unwitting actor. Maybe I really should just call me and be like, you know what, fuck these condescending ivory tower clowns, I want to work with you. But then again, if I was with the Anarchs, they'd probably delegate even shittier tasks to me. If, that's a really big if, they didn't think I was some kind of inside agent in the first place. Better stick to the Camarilla, but if they're hell-bent on stabbing me in the back every opportunity, maybe it's time to think about how I can repay the favour. Play dirty no matter what Kindred thinks of it. After all, from where I'm standing now, there's no other way but up. A penny for your thoughts. I take a drag from my cigarette. Which one? 1, 2 or 3? 2. And that's just the last few months of hazing. I didn't expect a random act of kindness. This kind of bullshit is, well, just how the camera works, isn't it? More often than necessary, I'd say. But this time it's a risky play. In my experience, if one simply displays some cunning, then they'll unexpectedly turn a situation like this into their advantage. The court. Part of the court assumes that you're unable to surprise them in the regard, but if you do, by the end of this investigation, you might as well have put yourself out of the ditch you're in. That would be a good night to remember. So, where should I go first? You should go with me. As it happens, I'm only out here because I ordered to drive Elsie into the art hole. And guess the name of her protege. Oh, so that's who Agathon is. Or was. Nobody knows. It's a complicated thing. You'll see. I'm on the clock, so let's move on. Vin Diesel rides again. Still not done with this bit? Not while it's still bothering you. I'm leaving you behind if you don't keep up. I'm just going to go and get myself a drink because I feel my throat feeling a little raw. God. Emma. Move. I'll be back. Emma, don't give me that look. You big poo. For context, Emma's breed is Cavapoo. She's like fucking 8 kilos. All is well where I am. It's afternoon at the moment. How about you? As I already told you, Kadir, and numerous times at that, I have no idea what happened with Agathon. Yes, because Agathon's storyline He did some Tremere stuff with his ex-girlfriend who was also trying to do some weird stuff. And that was that. We actually don't know how that was left off. Doing grand. Marvellous. Just marvellous. The Broadway Chantry, part of the Chantry of the Five Boroughs, is Elsine's usual hangout place of these past few nights. She's in a hurry and not willing to talk. Do you have any idea about his connection to the Kindred going by the names of Tamika, D'Angelo, and Hope? I don't. I made it a point to keep our relationship strictly professional one and never meddled in his personal affairs, unless they influenced our work, that is. But it only happened one time. Ah yes, the infamous Juno case. Okay folks, which one? 3, 2 or 1? I personally thought Agathon was a little underdeveloped. He had a lot of interesting stuff going on, but I felt he could have done with more. 3. Were you two in conflict about anything? Something that might have driven a wedge between you? A pause which is slightly too long for me to not get suspicious. Nothing I can think of, but I did take offence to one thing. It was quite rude of him not to give me a proper warning before he departed. Still, this line of work is not particularly favoured by folks with a perfect grasp of savoir-vivre, or however it's pronounced, because that sounds French, and French I am not. I do hope his search will bring him back right where he started, begging me to take him back. The boy is talented, and I did put a lot of time into mentoring him. If he doesn't, well, sorry. I'm biased because Tremere is my favourite clan. Fair enough. Well, if he doesn't, well, Coel Sera Sera, no skin off my back. So you won't even entertain a possibility that he found himself in harm's way? I know an answer to that one. A researcher's mindset. She doesn't think it's worth considering that the worst-case scenario seriously and just takes things as they come. Precisely. If, for example, climate change scientists didn't operate this way, most would have been put a bullet in their own head long ago. I love the French terminology too. It looks so pretty, but I cannot say it for the life of me. Yesterday, I'm swimming with a boy. Can you being a lovely savage? Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day and your swim. That's a cheery thought. I'd like to search the Chantry for Agathon's whereabouts. Our good sheriff already did that, long ago. You'd just be wasting your time, and ours for that matter. Didn't you say Helen was waiting for us, Kadir? Tremere is currently the highest number of members of the Discord server. Is it now? Huh, I am surprised. Give the girl 15 minutes, Elsine. A minimal support for an ongoing investigation. And besides, she had a proclivity for finding things everyone else has overlooked. 10 minutes, and if you attempt to pass this door or that other one up there, I can't guarantee you'll walk out of here alive. Thank you very much, High Regent. Just get on with it. Ooh, having this trippy imagery again. Okay, that was a fading to black, as it were. Okay, bit weird. My time here is practically up, and I found nothing of use. It seems Agathon was completely dedicated to his work. Even his personal quarters are as bad as it gets. No personal touch whatsoever. Nothing I could go by. It's all research, research, research. He seems like such a bore. Focus, Julia. What would you do if you were a warlock workaholic? Where would you leave clues to your whereabouts? What would you do if you found yourself in mortal danger and wanted Dakota to know? It's loose. Was that? Yeah. It was facing this way, huh? I approached the place where I saw the shadowy silhouette appear. It's a brick wall, and one of these bricks is loose. Kadir and Elsine are in another room right now, still discussing the party. It's not that bad. You ought to learn how to find humour in the little things. I don't know if you're aware, but on this background, on the artwork, there's a shimmery figure that keeps popping in and out of existence. You have a look at that whilst I have my drink. It's demeaning, Sheriff. That's all there is to it. See, there it is. Ooh, spooky. It's time. I work the brick loose until I can grip it. Then, yeah, the loose brick, that old gag. I tug it as silently as possible, revealing a hole in the wall. Inside there's a book. I browse for it quickly. Agathon's diary. That's a bingo. Your 10 minutes are up, so are your 15 minutes, in fact. Are you done here? If I could just get 5 more minutes, I still feel like I could stumble upon something here if I just look a little more. No way, Julia. Time to go. Fine. I put the bit back and take the diary with me. It didn't look like Agathon left it that someone in the Chantry could find it, presumably the High Regent. But my investigation takes priority for now. I bid Cody and Elsing adieu and start looking for a scheduled place to read the diary. Oh, that looks pleasant. This place right here should be secluded enough for me to browse through the diary in peace. I start quickly skimming the book, singling out sentences and paragraphs that look interesting, trying to get a general idea of what kind of person Agathon was. Or he is, I hope. Hold on, what was that bit of text? That's some cool artwork. I did miss a bit of dialogue. The more I read, the clearer the image of the person becomes. He's been working under the High Regent for 15 years. Oh, that's the text on screen. That's pretty cool. I love it. There's an underlying shame in the way he talks about Tremere magic. He's always described himself as too slow on the uptake, too late to learn something, too much of an amateur. He was really into tying his self-worth into his wisdom. The entries beginning in 2012 are terrifyingly regular. The handwriting is extraordinarily neat. The author's absolute dedication to his studies is palpable. If there's anything to his own life besides work, it's his relationship with these important women he holds dear. It will be his girlfriend, this other woman, and Elsing. The first is his master, Elsing Sturbridge, whom he refers to for her knowledge, stoicism, and willingness to experiment. I was hoping to find some details about his secretive work here, but no dice. It looked like he was willing to risk someone finding all about his inner life, but not anything that could harm his studies. Her studies. A good pupil, serving a good mentor. I'm jealous. The second is another warlock, his ex-lover Juno, who he feels guilty about. They had a conflict in which Elsing was involved. Having to choose between the two, he chose Elsing. According to Agathon, there was never a real love between him and Juno. First it was just shared interests, then a growing discontent, and ultimately guilt which made him feel responsible for her. But maybe it's just excuses. He strikes me as the kind of person who spends most of his time inside of its head. Doesn't sound like someone you could have a fulfilling romance with. Which option, folks? 1, 2, or 3? Free. You unromantic fuck. I know what you're doing, Julia, but this is not a rabbit hole you want to be stuck in right now. Keep reading. Anyway. Last but not least, Agathon's mortal grandmother, Sylvia. She is the light of his life and the person who took care of him after his parents died in a ritual murder. Not quite what I expected. Her family used to serve as a cruel vampire in Mexico City, and it was a retribution for their escape. She was the lead Tremere used to track him down, actually. He was keeping her alive for a long time, but a few months ago her heart gave up. Oh no, Sylvia's dead. Agathon blamed his insufficient skills, the kind of man who carries the entire world on his shoulders. Left alone with Elsing, he drowned himself in work, and eventually burned out. But it doesn't sound like Sylvia's death was the only event that triggered his depression spiral. There was some kind of incident back in 2019, which I'm hazarding a guess was the stuff in Coteries of New York. He doesn't cite specifics. Another thing he was worried about writing down is all vague mentions of a person who made him fly too close to the sun. The coterie member. Whatever happened, it had the same effect as his grandmother's death. New York stopped feeling like a home to him. It became alien, empty, grotesque. His words. Au revoir, Raul Menendez. I check the first page. There's a recent photograph of him glued to the inner side of the cover. He's facing away from the camera, only showing his profile and striking a rather dramatic pose. First, it looks like kind of a poserish to me. However, upon closer inspection, it seems like a goodbye photo. The final melancholic glance he throws in your direction before disappearing for good. Excuse me for this yawning. There's also a single black feather. No idea what it means. Something's written next to the paragraph with a lot of flourish. Looks like a poem. More than annoyed. Sad. More than annoyed. More than annoyed. Sad. More than sad. Unhappy. More than unhappy. Suffering. More than suffering. Abandoned. More than abandoned. Alone in the world. More than alone. Exiled. More than exiled. Dead. Hello, cat.
Meh.
More than dead. Forgotten. The Sedative, 1917, by Marie Laurencin. Looks like he wrote it down recently. It might have resonated with his emotional state over the past few months. Most importantly, it seems to confirm his intent of his diary to me. The general idea seems to be his research will outlive him, and so he doesn't even detail it. Still, he wanted some kind of tangible memory of who he was left for posterity. But that's not at all. There's still a mystery to be solved. Quite a few pages toward the end are missing, but it doesn't look like they were necessarily moved to redact information. They were torn off in a way that makes it the paper wasn't ever used. What's more, the preceding pages are empty as well. Could it be that... Hold on, I just want to see if I missed dialogue there. Nope. Let's have a drink. Excuse me. That's when it happens. Again. I notice a bizarre shape in my peripheral vision. Bleed. I turn to catch a glimpse as fast as possible, but it's already gone. If my heart could beat faster now, it would be jumping out of my chest. Oh, there's a ghost over there, you can see. It's discomforting. I've been seeing these apparitions ever since I was turned into... this. The worst part is, I feel that it was always there. Even as a mortal, they were sometimes in the corner of my eye, disappearing when I tried to look directly at them, making me think it was just my mind playing tricks on me. But when you're part of the Night Clan, there are times they won't disappear. There are times they talk. There are times they just force you to do their bidding. And worst of all... No, I don't want to think about it right now. Still, in my experience, they aren't exactly, I don't know, consciously malevolent. This one in particular was trying to... help? I open the book on the first page and look around to make sure nobody's staring. Then I cut myself using a razor and keep my eye in my pocket just in case. It's not a deep slice, just enough to let a droplet of vitae fall onto the pages. That's when the letters appear. Oh, this is interesting. Look at me, something clown. No longer confident that any of my people can be trusted. I'm turning into a fucking spick. A Camarilla spick at that. Because if you remember how Coteries of New York ended, we discovered that... what's her name? Panhard was... No, Callahan was bloodbound to Panhard. Oh, Agathon. You look sexy as fuck. Oh, woo! Everyone make a rouse check and a rouse check. Agathon, reserved contempt. What are you? Something, boy. Laugh at me, ridicule me. I deserve. Come on, don't just stand there like an idiot. You want to say something, say it. What the hell? This is the last thing I expected to happen. This diary is haunted. A series of quickly changing sentences and images composed of shadows and blood give me a window into another reality. It's not an objective view, it's like scattered remnants of emotions, similar to half-remembered dream. And what was that? Oh, it's a Facebook thing that can wait. It's like scattered remnants of emotions, similar to a half-remembered dream, full of holes, but an honest expression of one's mind. Might it be interacting with me? It's just a hypothesis, but I don't know why else it would show me Callahan and... Was that Ellis Island? Right. This time I didn't even look its direction. The voice makes me feel oddly confident about what I need to do. There's weird, like, floaky specks in the air now. I pick up the feather that was in the diary and dip it in my vitae. Then I write down... Which word? What do we write? 1, 2 or 3? 3. Let's try contempt. Oh, that seems like that was the right answer. You sold out your ideals long ago, old man. You're a shithead, a coward, a bigot, a failed leader, hated by everyone serving you. Of course I have nothing but contempt for you. Good, finally, some honesty. Now we can talk to each other like equals. It doesn't feel like this is the way that... Oh, it doesn't feel like this is the way events took place. It's more like they were a way to explore Agathon's emotional truth about the way it all unfolded. In any case, the diary is reacting with me, and some shade of the truth is better than nothing. It's a handy tool, and if I use it right, I might find some clues that could aid me in my investigation. There are a few thoughts floating around in my head like alien entities trying to make their way out. Is that also an effect of the diary's power? Let's try... 1, 2 or 3. Two. I'm curious. What is the destiny you see in front of you? There are 2 paths I see laid out in front of me. The first one is freedom bought with a horrible price. The second one is utter complete debasement. But you haven't decided on one of these paths yet. No, but I'm afraid that choice might have been already been made for me. God damn it! What are the two of you talking about? Why did you meet? Which word now? 1, 2 or 3? One. We just need to endure. I told you what I know, and that should buy some time. I'll see what else I can find out. Time? There's no time. We aren't dealing with dumb fucks like you. We have to act like we've already been fucked out and act fast. For all I know, they might have already ordered our deaths. I'm the High Regent's pupil. I've been her right-hand man for years. There's no way she'd allow me to. You dumb cocksucker. The moment she sees you as a failed experiment, she's going to treat you the way she treats all of her fucked experiments. Blood running cold. Huh. All the scribblings disappear and another set starts taking their place. The diary conjures an image of a completely different place. I instantly get a feeling of deja vu. I process this space differently. The atmosphere is different, more familiar, homely, but this is unmistakably the Tremere Chantry I visited earlier tonight. And standing there is just the person I'd expect. Looks like that's my meeting with Looks like that's it for my meeting with Callahan. God damn it. But what if the person he was talking about and elicited in a strong emotional reaction from was Elsing? The diary awaits my next command. Which word? 1, 2, or 3? This is very interesting. I have no idea what's going on. One. High Regent. Why? Why? You can't be serious. These experiments need resources, and I wouldn't be able to provide all the needed materials in a reasonable time frame all by myself. It's quid pro quo, and it's not like my research isn't helping all the Kindred. And I'm not sure what that's supposed to say. Kindred and a something run. I don't feel comfortable being a part of this, at all. I always thought we were busy with science, not politics. These are the words of a child, Agathon. Science has always relied on politics and politics on science. It's an interesting shirt that he's got on. Isn't that a religious thing? Not like this, High Regent. Don't embarrass me, Agathon. Not like this. The moving scribblings disappear, and I hastily let another drop of blood fall on the page. What appears this time is yet another familiar face. Ah. Ah, yes. Agathon, welcome. Oh, what is that you wanted to tell me? Which word? 1, 2, or 3? Is that hard signs for magic on this shit? 3. You all want to say 3. I know why you said 3. Good for you guys. You goddamn rat. I beg your pardon. The harpy vanishes. Yeah, right. As if I could ever gauge courage to say this to your face. But the least I can do is try and stab you in the back. Huh. The diary ends here. I spoil a little more on the detail on the page, but it no longer works. I suppose that's it. Still no idea what happened to Agathon. Is he alive? Or is he dead? Ah, so he knew. He somehow found out. Anyway. Is he alive or dead? What do we reckon, folks? The diary broke. Alive or dead? 1 or 2? One. I saw 1 first. Maybe Dakota's right. I've been a glass half empty buzzkill too often. I'll brace for the worst, but hope for the best. The way he left his diary for someone to carry on his work, the hints he strategically left inside, he's got all his planned out, no doubt about it. I chose to... Trait updated. I chose to believe I'll see him again one night. Maybe I'll even compliment that jacket he has. What trait have we gained? Glass half full. Okay, we're a bit more optimistic now. Hooray! In any case, I think it's time to pay a visit to the art hole. And I think that's where I'm going to conclude it for today, because I've just noticed the time. I need to go and prepare dinner and prepare to prostitute this live stream for people to watch on demand. And, yeah, I think this is quite a dramatic place to end our story for a while. Thank you ever so much for people... I don't think he's alive, but I want him to be. Yeah, well, same actually. So yeah, thank you ever so much to all that's been coming along, chatting and bantering along. Thank you, Grim Reaper, for the wonderful episode title that I will go and edit within the next 5-10 minutes. You've all been truly wonderful. I'm really, really enjoying where this is going. I've got no idea how this is going to pan out. I have no idea what's going to happen to Julia or Dakota. I love the little romance that they have with each other. It's just... As I said earlier on, it's got me some rather sensitive times. You're welcome. I love falling into an English accent. You're too kind, Mr. Memphis. You're very welcome, Milkless. Thank you ever so much, everyone. Just going to sign off here now. Enjoy the rest of your day. And, well, I should probably say when I'm going to stream this again. Can't do tomorrow. Probably not. Maybe tomorrow, maybe Tuesday. We'll see. But of course, I'll keep you posted and update as and when that happens. Until next time, farewell.